I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
All right, Rose Dalton. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, McGraw.
So I'm addicted to collecting Beatles albums.
You're addicted to collecting Beatles albums.
I need help.
That's more than a dad joke. That's in the great category.
Thank you.
Get it? Because the name of the album is Help,
Mm-hmm.
and she needs help
need
acquiring some of the albums. Get it? See what she did there?
It's been a hard day's night.
That's what I was going to say. It was a hard day's night trying to get some help over here.
That's funny because I get by with a little help from my friends.
Woo! White.
I tried to work in We All Live in a Yellow Submarine, but
I know, right? And it kind of didn't. Sergeant Pepper, it didn't really roll off.
I actually
You have some rubber soul.
I actually saw Beatlemania. That's how old I am.
Where?
At the Winter Garden Theater.
And
the first time.
What
around.
exactly is what is
Beatlemania? Was apparently the first
Like tribute
band there ever was.
So
I
it was
guess.
just the ultimate Beatles cover band, and they
came out and looked like the Beatles and sounded like the Beatles.
It was a big deal for a while.
Oh, it was on Broadway. It was on the Winter Garden Theater, Beatlemania.
They did enough, like Golden Girls talked about that, and Dorothy ended up taking one of them home that night, the one that played Ringo or something.
So here shows you how I think we went on a school trip to go see Beatlemania.
Because your teachers were trying to be hip.
I don't know, and I want
Or
to
they
say
just
it
wanted
was,
to go.
I want to say it was 8th grade. We took a bus into the city, into the
Fun.
Winter Garden Theater to go see Beatlemania.
Now,
Matinee?
what did you think? Were you a Beatles fan at all? Did you have any respect at the time? I mean, you knew of them. You didn't necessarily have to love them, but you're like, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, I was sitting next to Teresa Nolan, so I didn't care what was going on.
Did you hold hands?
I think we might have actually.
No, he did the old yawn, arms over the shoulder thing.
I was like, is that door locked? Let me see if that door is locked.
Oh.
I believe I stopped short is what I did. That was my move.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the Winter Garden Theater.
Great field trip.
The Beatlemania.
When your mom signed the permission slip. I want to go.
She must have.
Right? I mean, that would be like fantastic. Can parents come?
Yeah. I don't remember anything other than there was a fake like recording sign on the side of the stage. Like
Was it flashing?
You know how like they do like record it was like
On air.
They had like that
right.
like they were recording this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was part of the show or whatever else. Speaking of that, I've mentioned on the air that one of the concerts I went to in 1985 was Rat with opening up was Bon Jovi. Remember when I said that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Some listener sent me the advertisement for that.
Of course.
It was
In the Village Voice or something like that?
no, it was I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know where he got it from, but it's I have it here. Wednesday, September 18th, general admission $12.50, $13.50 day of show. Tickets on sale at the Pershing box office. Dirt Cheap Records, Pickles Records in Lincoln and in Omaha, UNL Student Union, and Brandeis ticket locations. With Rat with special guest Bon Jovi.
And this is when you're in Omaha in college.
I was in Lincoln, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look
wow. And he found someone were able to
I
find.
should put it up on the screen.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They found the advertisement that was in like the student newspaper or something.
So they was it at this like at your college at the stadium at your college?
No, it was like
at
at the auditorium, the city auditorium.
That's crazy. Like that was in the newspaper or you guys' like bulletin?
They were advertising to sell tickets.
Did you think the person went
It was a commercial. No, they found it online somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think this is the same guy who I told him, mentioned on the air, it's the first game I ever went to. And he sent me like the box score of the first game I ever went to.
So I was going to say, once you got into radio, how long did it take you to realize some of these excellent loyal listeners can come up with some very interesting tidbits?
Do not go against the loyal listeners. Do not go against some things you learn.
Loyal.
Some things you learn in this business. Don't go against the ones who love you. Don't go against the ones who hate you. Because the ones who hate you are more loyal than the ones who love you.
Exactly.
No, it's It's and you say the most innocuous things, and someone's like, yeah, no, look.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is you can't be lying.
Right.
I mean, this just
I was at that show.
Yeah.
Well, had there been listeners that have said, "Oh, McGraw, I remember when you were at that show and you were blah blah blah," and you in your mind you're like, I know I was never at that show, and you don't want to bust there, but sometimes it is. It's like there's
I'll bust them.
It was you for sure.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was never there. But
I've done. People have said to me, "Oh, I remember when you said this," and I'm like, "Look, I may have said that, but I don't ever remember saying that."
Right.
And then a lot of times, they'll think that, and I'm like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, they get their.
Yeah, I get that a lot with management. Some management says, somebody wanted to know when you were talking about, polar bears, and I'm like, we weren't the show talking about polar bears. And then this has happened to me more often than not. And I don't know what this means, but people will come up to me and like, "Oh, you dated my friend's sister." I'm like, "Oh, what's your friend's sister's name?" Josephine. I'm like, "No, sorry."
Right. And they're like, "No, you did."
No, you did. Like, no, she talked about you. I'm like, right. No, yeah, I never dated a Josephine.
Right. Like, I think I would.
I never went out on a date. I don't think I've ever met a Josephine.
Right.
No, you did. I'm like, no,
you guys went here, and she said this.
And you're like, okay, all right, yeah. You know better. I guess I did. She broke my heart.
Dang it, Josephine.
Josephine. Oh man,
I blocked her out of my mind.
And I had to go to Filoni's and get all drunk over Josephine.
Oh, Josephine.
The one that got away, Josephine. Captain Paul Kopsky, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
McGraw, we had a couple of early morning accidents in the rain, but those have cleared. Right now, there's a stalled vehicle on 55 North past Imperial, Maine in a center lane, causing a slowdown. And the ramp from 270 South to westbound Manchester is closed for repairs through Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be closed through tomorrow. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Then Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
Unfortunately, this heat and humidity sticks around right through the weekend. The high today in the mid to upper 90s, the heat index 105 possibly, and we'll probably see a few showers or thunderstorms that could at least temporarily give us a little bit of relief from the heat. Could see a few showers around for the morning commute, and then another round of afternoon thunderstorms is possible, and one or two of those could be strong. We're looking for a high again in the mid 90s and that heat index well over 100. Then it's all about sunshine, heat, and humidity through the weekend. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kent Earhart for the Big 550 KTRS.
I like Kent. He's a good dude. I like Kent. He's also great on the weather, by the way. Just a little heads up. All right, let's talk St. Mary's High School. Mike England was in the studio yesterday telling about the great news about St. Mary's. They've teamed up with businesses and unions to sort of create opportunities for students that weren't there before. Now, they just announced the big announcement with UMSL, where UMSL will be able to help with St. Mary's, and St. Mary's students will have access to UMSL in ways that they never had before. Standing scholarships, opportunities, empowerment of their students. And yes, many times the students, for some families, could be the first time someone in their college goes to someone in their family goes to college. I tell you what's going on in St. Mary's is nothing short of amazing. Their attendance, their enrollment is up. What did he say? Like 30-40% in the last couple of years. I mean, it is anything other than amazing. And if you're looking for an all-boys Catholic education, St. Mary's High School could be the perfect place for your young man. Kids come from all over the region. They come from both sides of the river, right there on South Grand, and you are going to get an education that is going to teach skills for the 21st 21st century. They've got world-class sports, which is world-class pride, and world-class energy coming out of St. Mary's right now. It is, I mean, they have risen from the phoenix since the Archdiocese said we're no longer going to support St. Mary's. All they've done is just turn the whole region on its ear and all come together. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. stmaryshs.com, stmaryshs.com.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. This has been a sales volume record-breaking year for us so far. I need more vehicles. Got one to sell? I'd love to buy Corvettes, late model muscle cars, Porsches, Vipers, Ford Raptors, Shelby Mustangs, you name it. I'll even buy an everyday vehicle if it's super clean and low mile. I make it easy, even if you still owe money. I cut you your equity check right on the spot and make your payoff. I also buy classic cars and exotics. If it's unique, pristine, and low mile, I want it. We even buy our entire collections. We just bought an awesome collection of Mopars from Florissant last week. Hop on our site to submit your vehicle and we'll take it from there. MasterCarsInc.com.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy our today. 4100 and Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Tune in weekly to the Frank and Jill Show to catch the new Legal Eagle segment featuring renowned attorney Travis Noble of Travis Noble Attorneys at Law.
Every week, Travis will join the show for an entertaining segment focusing on legal stories
And news right here on the Big 550. This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
$620 here, Big 550 KTRS. The president owns a number of media outlets, and he set up a policy where you would have to pay money to see what he is saying. Some people say that is unconstitutional. Peter Harlambous, ABC News, has got the story. Peter, what's up?
Yeah, good morning. This lawsuit is challenging this new program called Truth API. This was rolled out earlier this month by Donald Trump's social media company, Trump Media and Technology Group, which basically charges institutional investors up to $100,000 every month for early access to the president's posts. We're only talking about a few seconds, even a few milliseconds faster. But given how influential the president can be on his social media platform, the fact that he makes these massive announcements about government actions, everything from military actions to foreign affairs, trade policy, domestic policy, investors are betting that just a few seconds advantage can result in millions of dollars in profits, especially if you're an institutional trader, if you're doing high volume trading. That's the bet. This lawsuit was brought by two media organizations that frequently report based off the president's social media posts. They argue that this violates the First Amendment, which guarantees equal access to the president's statements, as well as the Fifth Amendment, which prohibits charging unreasonable amounts of money that can't be justified by offsetting the cost of a government benefit. So we'll see how this proceeds. It was filed here in federal court in New York, asking a judge to halt this from moving forward.
All right, let's first start with how much money is Trump Media wanting to charge for this advantage?
So they are charging upwards of $100,000 a month. They say they already have customers signing up, about 10 customers, and they're saying that this could be a major revenue stream for them. It's worth noting also that Trump Media, for what it's worth, has struggled to figure out an overall direction. Its stock price has dropped from $62 when it went public to $10 nowadays. The president's stake in it has gone from being worth about $4 billion to $1 billion. And they're experimenting in everything from crypto to financial services and even merging with a nuclear fusion company.
Okay, so these companies, just so we understand this right, will pay $100,000 a month to receive President Trump's social media posts a half a second before the rest of us?
Exactly. Yeah, it's that small of a difference. You know, it's something that would not really be noticeable to the average person. But if you're a firm, for example, that is doing huge amounts of trades over the course of a day, having that advantage, even if it's just a few milliseconds, could mean that you're able to execute a trade a little bit faster than your competitors and benefit from that market moving information. Specifically, you know, high volume algorithmic traders that bet on quick access to information, they could really profit from this information. And that's why they're willing to fork up, more than $1 million a year for access.
So there aren't humans who are doing this. This would all be computers who would get this information, read it, and then analyze it and buy and sell based on the information. But humans aren't that fast. Artificial intelligence and or computers are doing it?
I mean, yeah, at this point, most of the trading by these big firms are automated. They use AI to advance operations. It's human directed at the end of the day. They're the ones teaching the computers what to do. But we're talking about, firms that have systems that are kind of built to look at news developments and make quick decisions about how that might impact a stock's price. So again, when you're talking about a huge amount of volume being traded, even that really small advantage has been proven to be highly profitable.
Wow. It's a whole new world out there. Peter Harlambous, the suit was filed. What happens now?
So we'll get assigned to a judge here in Manhattan, and then we'll see how it proceeds. These organizations that sued are asking for a judge to halt this from moving forward, saying that the president's unjustly profiting from basically his own job as president and his announcements. We'll see how receptive a judge is to that over the next few weeks.
Now, as of now, though, this is full steam ahead, right? They're doing this.
That's right. August 1st, this rolled out. This has been operational now for a few weeks. There are firms who are currently trading. When markets open today, there are some firms that will be using this information to their advantage.
Do we have any idea who's paying for this?
It's believed that they're large institutional investors. It's not like there's individual people who are doing this. Specifically, this is being marketed to algorithmic trading firms, high volume traders. So specific stock market firms, basically, that focus on that kind of really quick trading that we mentioned earlier. This, just seconds difference. They're the main client for this.
Peter Harlambous, ABC News. Good stuff, Nate. Peter, thanks for checking in.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. 625, Big 550, KTRS. Ken Earhart's great. You know who else is great? Peter Harlambous is fantastic. He's really good. Man, he is, you throw the kitchen sink at him and that guy is buttoned up, man. He is.
And he has to sit through a lot of those trials and stuff, doesn't he?
He's got to know. He's no fool. Yeah. He's got to know what's going on. He
does his homework. That's for sure.
He's great. He's a great resource for us. Dare I say, not Stephen Portnoy level, because no one's. He might get the Stephen.
Whoa.
Peter Harlambous might get the Stephen Portnoy award at some point, but as of now,
it's so true.
And at
Portnoy's,
the Mount Rushmore is Aaron Katursky, Stephen Portnoy,
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan has too many negative stories.
Jim Ryan has too many puff pieces.
He's the buzzkill of all the parties.
Yeah, he's got all the crypto scams and
don't eat that lettuce or those jalapenos.
Yeah, the foodborne illness stories.
Don't send your money to Nigerian princes.
He's gloom and doom, Jim Ryan. That guy.
Today he's going to find Amelia Earhart.
Which give me a good Amelia Earhart story. I love Amelia. Somebody on TV says, in search of Amelia Earhart. I'll sit through fire to watch what happened to Amelia Earhart. I love it.
Was Bermuda Triangle have anything to do with her?
No, it was in the Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the Pacific.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So she was never recovered?
Never recovered. No.
So there's a possibility that she could be living.
There were theories.
As a
probably
different
now,
life.
probably not now.
She'd be dead now.
Yeah, she'd be 142 years old. Not that old, but apparently she wasn't a very good pilot. It was all marketing. Yeah. It was all. She was a terrible pilot.
Women flying planes.
She was portrayed as the female Charles Lindbergh.
That's hilarious. Why was she a bad pilot?
She was just terrible. She just wasn't a very good pilot. She wasn't a very good pilot. Yeah. 627 here, Big 550, KTRS. Morelli tuck pointing, 314-645-1387 or morellituckpointing.com. What do you do? You live in a brick house. You got brick or stone, beautiful landscaping with some stones and bricks and mortar, right? Well, with this weather, right, that heavy rain washes out the joints. Then you get the freeze and the thaw cycle, and oh man, it's a mess. That's why Morelli is the gold standard. You're driving down Highway 40 right now, right by Busch Stadium going westbound. Just look off to your left. There's a big, giant Morelli billboard sign out there. Why? Because he's the best. Great family, long time St. Louis family-run business. well-respected advertiser here. We're thrilled, and I've used them a couple of times. Morelli, 314-645-1387, 314-645-1387, Morelli, or MorelliTuckPointing.com. St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here is Captain Paul once again.
McGraw, a 3-vehicle crash on 170 North at Airport Road has been moved off to the shoulder. There's a stalled vehicle on 55 North past Imperial, Maine in the left center lane. That's causing a slowdown back to Highway M. And the ramp from 270 South to westbound Manchester is closed for repairs through Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be closed through tomorrow. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
78 degrees right now, headed up to 97. Yeah. The only difference between yesterday and today, apparently the extreme heat warning goes to 9 p.m. tonight.
Oh, no.
No, till Saturday.
Yeah.
They extended it to Saturday.
Extended it till September 4th.
Pretty much.
Extreme heat warning through today. We had quite a bit of heavy rain overnight, last night into this morning. So the plan is for the rest of the day, hazy, hot, and humid today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. It is currently, 82? Mm-hmm. 82 degrees at, 78 degrees, I'm sorry. 6:30. Let's go to the newsroom. Here's Rose Dalton.
A federal judge in Miami will hear arguments today for whether social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate should remain in custody. They are fighting extradition to the United Kingdom, where the brothers are accused of rape and sex trafficking. Millions of people crowded cloudless cities and towns in Spain in search of the best views of a total solar eclipse yesterday. It was the country's first total solar eclipse in more than a century. In local headlines, students in another Metro East school district head back to class. Belleville Public Schools District 118 begins the first day of school today. And the 2026 Illinois State Fair kicks off today in Springfield. The fair runs through August 23rd. 74 degrees. Time now is 6:30. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is the only track in America to host a NASCAR event, an IndyCar event, and an NHRA event.
The Raceway features a full schedule on their drag strip, oval track, and Gateway Kartplex. For full schedule and ticket info, go online to www.raceway.com.
The track, under the leadership of owner Curtis Francois, continues to upgrade the race experience for fans who come from around the country. For tickets, go to www.raceway.com.
That's www.raceway.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you. bishopspost.com.
Hey, Heidi here for Capital Advisory Group. Jeff Zufall is their senior tax strategist and wealth advisor and author of 2 #1 best-selling books on tax strategy, Keep What's Yours and Keeping What's Yours. We're excited that Jeff is joining the Heidi Glaus Show once a month for The Wealth Zone with Jeff Zufall of Capital Advisory Group. We'll discuss tax strategy and wealth planning. And for an even deeper dive, you can catch Jeff and Josh Saturdays at 3 on Keep What's Yours right here on the Big 550 KTRS. Find out more at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
If your home has been the place everyone gathers this summer, you already know how much the little things matter. The sunlight pouring through the windows, the patio door that's constantly opening for kids, friends, and family, the front door welcoming everyone from neighbors to weekend guests. Those everyday moments deserve windows and doors that are just as beautiful as the memories being made around them. That's why so many homeowners choose Renewal by Andersen for beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors designed for lasting comfort, energy efficiency, and timeless style. And for a limited time, take $385 off every replacement window and $785 off every replacement patio or entry door. With flexible financing available, now is a great time to invest in the home you love. Scheduling your free window and diagnosis couldn't be easier. Just dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say the keyword windows. No phone number, no searching online. Just pound 250 and the keyword windows. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
If you're from St. Louis, you likely have a Maggie O'Brien story. Maggie O'Brien's has become an iconic local hotspot for St. Louis sports, holiday parties, corporate and private events in downtown St. Louis for food and fun with distinctive Irish flair. Do check out their location in Sunset Hills. Maggie O's.
McGraw, live in the morning on KTRX.
Well, today Mike Bush is calling it a career at Channel 5. Talking to Kelly Jackson yesterday, I called her about something completely different. Kelly Jackson's such a sweet woman. Anyway, she was like, "Look, let me just get through this. Let me get through this Mike Bush retirement this weekend, and then we can sort of revisit what I want to do."
Did you get the deets on the party?
I was not invited to the party.
Well, they can't really have he's going to do the 6th. And then Savard and Kelly are going to do the 10. So whatever party they're going to have has to be between those two times.
Well, I mean, I think they're already running like best of and, great stories. He did a story. They showed one yesterday of him doing a story on the honor flight. Man, that honor flight gets you every time. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
Did you ever go?
No, I didn't. We tried to set it up a couple different times. And for whatever reason, we couldn't. They couldn't. I couldn't. It was always But I know people who've gone, and they say it's a life-changing event.
My wife took her grandfather the year before he passed away, and we all met them in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
It is very moving.
Yeah, no, really very special.
He did a special Savard went to my uncle's house, just this last one, and I bawled my eyes out. There was stuff that he unveiled that I didn't know about my uncle at the time, too, and it was just so well done.
Yeah.
And Savard's passion is so...
Yeah.
It's so moving for this, but those I think, and all of the veterans, it's such
they finally embrace it, and
especially too for Vietnam, getting a nice welcome home again.
And I also think that yes, the honor flight is a special deal. But Mike Bush riding off into the sunset. I have a feeling, and I have talked to him a little bit. I don't know him very well, but a little bit, and. Excuse me. I have a feeling. I don't know anything. I don't have any inside information. I'm not, going on to the boss's desk and rummaging through his files.
Ooh.
I suspect that you've not heard the last of Mike Bush. Now, he's still going to do the Mutual Awards.
Is he going to still do his podcast?
I don't know. It's a good question.
That you were a major guest on.
Yeah, He asked me to come down, and we did a nice half hour together. I suspect. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do. I don't think he's just never going to be heard from again.
I think it's really hard for people of this caliber to just stop. And I'm done.
Yeah.
You're still. It's in your blood. It's just part of. It's almost like you can't help yourself.
Depends on what Claudia says, though.
Well, now that he's 69. He's 69 this week. I I don't want to say that retirement has creeped into my head, but you get to be the age of 60. You're like, well, you know what? How much longer do you want to do this?
Well, what is retirement age anymore anyway now? 79?
Right, exactly.
Doesn't it keep pushing like...
There are parts of me that say, oh, no, they're going to, this story's going to be McGraw Millhaven died behind a microphone. He was trying to understand what a texter was why a texter was critical of him and had a heart attack and died.
He just closed his eyes.
And you guys are like, yeah, that's about right. And then, yeah, that's about right. No, he's, I don't know if he's 72, 92, 61, whatever, right? Whenever I go, oh, he died behind a microphone. He died talking, which is what I knew the guy for, and that's the way he came into the world, and that's the way he's going out. But there's another part of me that says, when I go, you're never going to hear from me again.
Carson.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just
how long have you thought about that?
I've said what I wanted to say, and it's now time for me to,
Yeah, maybe just let the cookie.
cookie
crumble.
I'm going to end up at a coffee shop somewhere talking to somebody about something. But in terms of in front of a microphone, no. They're too. I sometimes I'm like, oh no, I could never. No, they're going to rip this thing from my, And then there are other times where it's like I'm going to walk away. But it's also, I guess, the way you do it, right? If somebody takes the microphone away from you, I don't want to end that way. I want to end where I drop it and say goodnight. So, but I mean, Mike Bush deserves the right to go out any way he wants. And the man has done 41 years covering St. Louis. The man has seen it all. He's called it all. He spent a lifetime trying to make a difference and telling good stories. And you can tell by his body of work that the stories he told that make a difference, the musical stuff, he tried to point out the good things in St. Louis, and he should be applauded for it. Tip of the cap to the man, and well done, Mike Bush, and enjoy retirement, however that works for you. But, best thing Channel 5 ever did was hire Steve Savard, because the amount of we talk about this all the time, the amount of institutional memory that is walking out of Channel 5 would have been devastating to Channel 5. And so you have another guy who, you have one guy who called the Super Bowl or called a winning Super Bowl, the other guy who called a Super Bowl, walking in to fill his shoes. So tip of the cap to Mike Bush, and a job well done. St. Louis will be a little less because of you, but it's been a little more because of you all these many years. So there you go. Kelly Jackson, on the other hand, we got issues. 641 here, Big 550, KTRS. Let's talk Ted Drewes. Afterwards, you know what? When I go, we're all headed to Ted Drewes for frozen custard. That's what we're doing. Everyone's getting McGraw Concrete. Come on over. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Grace. Say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Ted Drewes, frozen custard. That's as bad as a St. Louis tradition as Mike Bush, right? Mike Bush has been here 41 years. Ted Drewes coming up on 100 years. 1929, they opened up a little custard stand. Who knew that it would be the center of the universe in St. Louis for 100 years? The Chippewa location is open. South Grand is open. And after the game, after the Muni, after the first day of school, after choir practice, after rehearsal, you name it. Or you know what? For no other reason at all than it's Thursday, and I want to swing by and get a frozen custard at Ted Drewes. Make your own concoction or get the McGraw. Half Oreo, half Heath. Doesn't matter. Just make sure you keep it in St. Louis with Ted Drewes. We'll see you there. Ted Drewes, a St. Louis tradition.
Julius Krasanik here, celebrating 54 years in this industry. My family owns Wholesale Siding Depot. That's WSDepot.com. Our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, and door experience. My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
Tired of companies that like to apply pressure to sell you high-priced fiberglass or wood windows? We offer the Anderson Fibrex family of windows in styles and colors, including black, at wholesale prices. What are you waiting for? We sell truckloads of siding, windows, and doors from CertainTeed, Anderson, Viwinco, Provia, and other major brands, all at wholesale prices, while offering a free contractor referral service for your expert installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. Visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
St. Louis County Library is celebrating 100 years of Route 66 with a fun family adventure this fall. The Route 66 Challenge runs from August 1st through November 30th and encourages families to visit unique roadside attractions, attend programs at the library, and read books about travel. You only need to complete 5 activities to finish the challenge and be entered into a raffle for a $100 Visa gift card. Ready to hit the road? Visit slcl.org to sign up and learn more.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
The Big 550.
KTRS, St. Louis.
St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here is Captain Paul Kopsky.
McGraw, a 3-vehicle crash on 170 North at Airport Road is still off on the shoulder, but not causing a slowdown. A stalled vehicle on 55 North past Imperial, Maine has been cleared, and there's no residual slowdown. 270 North is a little slow between Doherty Ferry and Manchester, and the ramp from 270 South to westbound Manchester is closed for repairs through Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be closed through tomorrow. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch with your first alert forecast. We are continuing our string of first alert weather days from today through Sunday afternoon. Each and every afternoon, going to be seeing the feels like temperature surpassing that triple-digit mark once again. This afternoon, a few isolated showers and storms, not as widespread. Going to be seeing a feels like temperature up to 107 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Isolated storm chances once again Friday. Most of us dry. This weekend, a lot of sunshine, but going to continue to see that high heat until a cold front with some scattered showers and storms arrives into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch for the Big 550 KTRS.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Jacob.
And I'm Beth Jacob. We're the owners of Jacob Showers and Baths.
We specialize in helping seniors age in place with bath and shower designs that are both safe and aesthetically pleasing. We can replace your current tub with a low-threshold walk-in shower, add grab bars and seats, and the shower floor is a non-slick surface. Come visit our showrooms in Fenton and Fairview Heights.
Mention the McGraw Special or select the McGraw Show from our drop-down menu online. Our phone number is 800-222-6676 or visit us online at jacobbaths.com.
Looking for a new kitchen or bath? Call me, Anne-Marie Bogus, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer at Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help make your dream space into a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. We do it all, from design to bid to installation too. Call us today at 636-821-3395 or go online at annemariestudio.com. Let's make your dream kitchen or bath a reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties. I want to buy your home. Any property, any condition, and always as is. I will pay top dollar with no contingencies and no inspections. You walk away with cash. So don't waste time and money making repairs and paying real estate commissions. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. Or go to robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
McGraw Millhaven on KTRS.
David Cassidy's still alive? Or he passed away? I think he passed away.
David Cassidy.
Let's see. David Cassidy. I think he died. He had like a, was,
10 years ago.
yeah, I was good. Yeah.
November 21st, 2027.
Age 67. Died of
2017.
liver and kidney failure. I think he was a bit of a drinker, actually, I think.
Today's
battle
Danny
alcohol.
Bonaducci's
Hey, Danny Bonaducci.
radio guy.
Radio guy. He's gotta stick together with the radio guy. I don't think anymore. I think iHeart cut him loose during one of the round of layoffs.
Really? He was a
radio guy. Yeah, he was a radio
Chicago.
DJ. Philly, I thought it was. I thought it was Philly. Might have been. Then it was up in Seattle or something.
did he have a radio name?
Yeah, I don't know. That was the era where like Jimmy J.J. Walker became a radio guy and Danny Bonaducci. And so some of these FM stations were like, let's get old TV stars who are,
Who were dynamite.
instead of going to perform at Pops, let's put them on the radio and see if they can get anything on the radio.
Because anybody can be on the radio.
So he was at the Loop in Chicago, then he was on Seattle, then Philly, and then he took medical leave.
Oh.
He also was
He had some
addiction
issues.
issues as well.
Yeah, I don't there but for the grace of God go any of us. You get that much fame that early, that much money early. Somebody hands you $10 million when you're 21 years old or the equivalent of that, right? These athletes who get these ridiculous amounts of money when they're 16, 17, 18, 20 years old. I mean,
Yeah, NIL, it's a great idea.
well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know if the other way is better, but if somebody gave me $1 million when I was 18 years old, I mean,
that's what I mean. In what world is that?
Quincy's a college town, so
Is that
somebody
good?
became a billionaire yesterday.
Oh, is that the
Yeah, Quincy, Illinois, one ticket
one ticket?
in Quincy, which is a college town.
Good luck. Quincy, Illinois.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right up the river.
Wow. $1 billion.
One ticket
One bill.
or 450.
I wouldn't know what to do with $1 billion. I would.
Right? Like
My grandmother would say, I don't want to win. I'd have a heart attack. I want to be like, I'd have a heart attack and die. I don't want to win.
I mean, you couldn't tell. Like everyone, it just would change your entire. You can't tell anybody. Eventually, you have to, and then everyone comes out of the woodwork. It just sounds terrible to be quite honest.
Hopefully, there's the history is well enough known that where somebody would get to you and counsel you a little bit better. But yeah, no, there's stories of lottery winners have said at the end of their life, I wish I never won this stupid thing.
Yeah, because the cliche, money doesn't really buy you happiness.
No, it's true.
It can buy you some temporary fun, but after a while, it's like I think the novelty wears off, and your leech family members won't leave you alone. Everyone wants
all these childhood stars who've gotten into trouble. It's the rarity is the one who doesn't, like the
Susan Day. She's still alive.
The Ron Howards of the world who were able to sort of be grounded in all of this. Jodie Foster, a couple of them are out there, but I mean, the most of them are, terrible stories because it was too easy. It was too, people would throw things at them. And athletes tell you all the time, you just walk into a room and people threw drugs at you. People threw, everywhere you go, you were trying to be a good guy and you found yourself here or there and everybody was your friend and you felt so fortunate that you felt like you owed it to them to, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in no man's land and you forget who you are and you forget what got you there and you wake up, Bernie Kosar tells the story. He's like, look, I made all this money and all these people came to me, all my family came to me, they needed money. I gave it to them. Then it turned out I'm broke.
Yeah, well, I can't remember who it was. Chris Tucker or something. When he made all the money from Friday, he's like, a lot of his family members quit their jobs.
Yeah,
like and he was like, sorry, but like that was the men. Like, hey, my cousin's rich, so I'm good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine? JR called like, yeah, I'm done, right? Like everyone comes out like your sisters.
And then of course, then you feel bad.
Well, yeah.
Because then you've got, I have all this money and you don't. So, okay, let me buy you a house. And then you're losing your car and then your wife leaves you and, kids need clothes and that's my nephew. And no, I get it. I get it.
The next question is, would you take the lump sum or the annuity, right? The $1,000 a week or whatever it turns out to be.
It's 20 payments every year.
I know financial advisors will say the smart thing to do is take the lump sum.
Really? Then you can invest it yourself.
And then do compound interest and all that.
Right. However, there are.
There's a thing.
How many times? Raise your hand if you like. Oh, you know what? I'll do the study at home and not take the class, and then. At the end of the semester, you're like, why didn't I do any of this at the beginning of the semester?
I mean, that's some
right. I'll do it in 10 easy installments. And then, of course, you don't do it in 10 easy installments.
Or remember what happened to the Publishers Clearinghouse? There was a story where they were doing the annuity payments for a while, and then they went bankrupt. Right. Yeah. They'd be like, okay, well, then there's that.
This is the state, though.
So I would, there's something to be said for taking the lump sum if you're disciplined enough. Or there's something to be said for saying, you know what, I would rather, I get it. I'm taking less money, but I'm protecting myself from. But then, of course, you could get yourself in trouble all the time. How many people do this? Oh, I'm getting $4,000 back on my tax returns and then spend that $4,000 7 times.
Right.
And then don't get $4,000.
Yeah, before the ink's even dry. Yeah.
You get the $4,000, but you've spent it, you spent $12,000 waiting for the $4,000. And so now you're down 8. You're like, wait a minute, what happened to that $4,000?
We spent it.
You're right.
Oh man.
No, also, I'm good. I got $4,000 coming. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got,
I said, I won $90,000. I quit my job. Everything. You're like, oh man.
So
might not last.
Also, Shirley Jones is still alive.
God loves Shirley Jones. I interviewed Shirley Jones.
92.
Yeah.
And Donna Mills just joined OnlyFans. There's that.
Donna Mills from Dynasty, Knots Landing.
Yeah.
Really?
Let's go to Captain Paul.
Interesting. I got to go. Captain Paul, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Take it away, Captain Paul.
McGraw, there's a crash on 255 West at Telegraph. 270 North is a little slow from 55 to Gravois and between Doherty Ferry and Manchester. And the ramp from 270 South to westbound Manchester is closed for repairs through Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be closed through tomorrow. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
You know, Donna Mills on OnlyFans is one thing. Let me know when Shirley Jones is on OnlyFans. Now, that would be a story. All right, Captain Paul, thank you very much. What do we got weather-wise here for the next couple of days? Look, it's the same as it ever was. We've got 97 degrees today, hazy, hot, and humid, extreme heat indices up until 9 p.m. tonight. An extreme heat warning until 9 p.m. tonight. More of the same for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we get a little bit of a drop. Hopefully this thing sort of finally moves out on Monday. I'll have a high in the mid-80s. And then next week, it looks like we're going to be in the 80s, at least for now. So we'll wait and see how it all turns out. Next hour, Stephen Portnoy is going to be joining us. And Brad Garrett is going to look at this flock camera controversy. This one, R's and D's coming together against this camera company that has cameras everywhere. We'll get to all of that. It is coming up 7 o'clock here. The Big 550 KTRS Talk Radio St. Louis, and everything is online at KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. It was a rainy, flooded Wednesday for the people of Indiana. Rescue crews working to assess the damage to many parts of the state following downpours and flash flooding. ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z has more.
Nearly a foot of rain fell in some areas east of Indianapolis. Multiple water rescues, evacuations, and road closures.
This is just complete insanity. We're just experiencing the worst flooding I've ever seen in the history of this town, I would assume.
Dozens of people rescued in Cambridge City. One man seen clinging to a power pole. Drone video shows the entire town underwater.
Powerful monsoon storms also rolled through Arizona, flash flooding and gusty winds in Phoenix and Chandler. Military and civilian investigators on the scene of that deadly chopper crash in central Texas.
The Apache attack helicopter was carrying 2 soldiers, both of whom were killed when the aircraft went down southeast of Fort Hood, where the Apache and the crew were based. It also sparked a wildfire that forced the evacuation of several homes and has burned about 155 acres of pasture and brushland.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Military publications printing allegations of poor conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been deployed to the Middle East in support of the war with Iran.
The aircraft carrier and its 5,000 sailors and Marines are now 9 months into a deployment supporting the war with Iran. And at one point, they spent 250 straight days at sea, a modern record. The Navy Times and Stars and Stripes report multiple sailors have tried to jump overboard. One wife saying her husband reached a breaking point after his deployment kept getting extended.
ABC's Karen Waugh. The president of Colombia says nearly 500 people are still reported missing after this week's earthquake. 265 people died. Large parts of Western Europe sweltering once again, with Britain and France entering their 5th heat wave of the summer amid this exceptionally hot season. This is ABC News.
30 years going strong. We are live, local and locally owned. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
SSM Healthcare Corporation seeks a full-time quality improvement manager in St. Louis, Missouri to plan and lead activities to develop, implement, support, and promote the organization's quality improvement programs, lead quality initiatives to improve quality of care and services for the organization, and assist in the development and evaluation of annual quality management programming and documentation. Evaluate and analyze the effectiveness of quality improvement activities. May work remotely from anywhere in Missouri. Send resume to Jennifer McClure, Human Resources Corporate Business Partner, SSM Health, JENNIFER.com. ssmhealth.mcclure at ssmhealth.com.
The official birthplace of the toasted ravioli is
Mama's on the Hill.
And Mama's on the Hill serves the best in town. Mama's has been a mainstay on the Hill for decades and is still a family-run restaurant serving up great Italian food in a fun atmosphere. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, and right in the heart of the Hill at Edwards and Bischoff. Delicious catering and party rooms too.
Mama's on the Hill.
Make reservations at 314-776-3100 and 24/7 at mamasonthehill.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
75 degrees at 7:03. Here's what's happening now. A Maplewood apartment complex is temporarily condemned after a 2-alarm fire. Firefighters were called to a fire around 3 this morning at the Pepper Tree Apartments on Bellevue Avenue. One of the residents was taken to an area hospital for smoke inhalation and is expected to be okay. Fire officials say the fire burned through the second and third floors as well as the roof. All of the residents have been taken to an area fire station. Plans are being made to find the residents temporary housing. The state fire marshal has been called in to investigate the cause of the fire. A missing child in South St. Louis has been found. KTRS's Brendan Weesey has details.
2-year-old Janila Hughley walked out the door of her Dutchtown home sometime early on Wednesday morning, sparking a search that spanned several city blocks. St. Louis Metro Police Department spokesperson Mitch McCoy credits a neighbor for spotting the child.
A very vigilant person in the area saw the 2-year-old girl in the arms of a woman who we had been searching for related to this missing child case. That vigilant neighbor flagged down an FBI special agent who was in the area and working with SLMPD officers in a multi-agency operation to find the missing child.
It was apparently not the first time Janila left the home on her own, but she was safe and sound, did go to the hospital for evaluation. I'm Brendan Weesey, KTRS News.
Meanwhile, police say charges could be filed in the case. The Parkway Board of Education voted unanimously Wednesday to place a 46-cent operating tax levy on the November 3rd ballot. The measure will ask Parkway voters whether to provide additional operating revenue to maintain staffing, academic programs, classroom resources, school safety, student activities, and long-term financial stability. The board's decision came after months of financial planning and community engagement. This past spring, Parkway held community meetings and conducted surveys to gather feedback from residents about the district's path forward. The Trainwreck Saloon, Restaurant, and Bar in Rock Hill will be changing hands after 44 years. George and Chris Hansford, who have owned the business since 1982, have sold it and will retire. The couple's last day at the restaurant will be August 30th. It will then shut down for remodeling. The Hansfords did not identify the new owners. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. 77 degrees. Time now is 7:05. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
Okay, Rose Dalton. Stephen Portnoy is going to be joining us. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt stepping down. We'll get into that with Stephen Portnoy. Brad Garrett's going to join us. These flock cameras, the abuses are just unbelievable. They're able to track your movements and your license plates, and stories of boyfriends tracking girlfriends, jobs tracking employees. It's a bit of a nightmare. So we'll get into that with Brad Garrett. Jim Ryan's got a story about somebody thinks they found Amelia Earhart in the plane and everything else. So every couple of years, there's always another story about how they found Amelia Earhart. Jim Ryan's got that. Antonio French is going to be along. Frank Cusimano is going to be along. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, the president of the Regional Business Council put up a trial balloon a couple weeks ago about reunification of the city and the county. Oh, they went there. And we asked the president of the Regional Business Council to come on and talk about it. And she said, let me just get through the election. And she got through the election. And so she's going to come on and she's going to talk about what the Regional Business Council and their group of businesses are advocating for.
They have an upcoming job fair too.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. This is it's a group of businesses and they get together and they, lobby on behalf of what's best for all the businesses. And so these businesses are sort of weighing into the fact that, hey, maybe it's better if we do this together as opposed to separately. And so she's going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour to make that argument or chew on that news. So we got all that coming up for the show. Got it?
Yes.
Mitch McCoy is a former KTRSer.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
What did he do here?
He was a producer. I think he was a producer for the midday shows. I liked him. He was a good guy. And then he left here and went down and got a TV job in Arkansas, I think, for a while.
Yeah, because you know what? Oddly enough, now that you say that, one of the many true crime things I watch, he was interviewed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was really good.
I was like, hey, Mitch.
I think it was just out of college he came here and was a great producer. And you could really tell that he was going places. And so he hung here, got a job, and then he went down to Arkansas for a while, came back and was a reporter for Channel 2 for a while. But he wasn't there very long. And then all of a sudden he pops up as the spokesperson for the St. Louis City Police. I mean, the guy's buttoned up. The guy is fantastic.
Yeah, that means you have to be like on call though too, right? The minute something happens, he's got to be.
But I mean, he's unflappable. He's a really good. And I give out compliments to PR people like I throw around manhole covers. So he's really good. He's fantastic. 7:09 here, Big 550 KTRS. All right. What else you got going on?
Have you ever been to the Trainwreck Saloon in Rock Hill?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact, on Manchester
with
there.
the buffalo out there,
Bison burgers.
the bison and they have a
on Manchester.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
usually go to this one out here.
Oh, right here at Westport proper,
But I have been to the one on. They have fried pickles, which don't get enough credit. I love me some good fried pickles.
Yeah, they're a big deal.
Was that a big deal? A big deal.
Deal.
Oh, they're a big deal. Oh, see what I did there? From the Country Code Car Wash text line, was it 9/11 that prompted Mike Bush to go from sports to news? No, I think he did that a couple years later. He also, if you remember the Sports on a Sunday, that Sunday night sports show that was must watch? That was great. And then that's sort of fallen by the wayside, right? They don't do those anymore.
Frank does it every Sunday night.
Does he? Okay,
Sports Final. Yeah.
I don't stay up that late anymore. But then you had, do you remember the George Michael Sports Machine?
Yes.
Yeah. Now he has
That
since
was
passed
syndicated.
away.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he was from St. Louis originally, I believe. George Michael. I used to watch that growing up as a kid. I think he was out of Washington, D.C., and then he created the George Michael Sports Machine. And it was this elaborate fake machine. And he would set up the clip and he'd say, let's go to the machine. And he hit a fake button on a machine. And then they would roll the highlights. And there was 15 minutes of the George Michael Sports Machine. And it was fantastic.
How did he have time to do that during his busy Wham schedule? And I thought he was British.
George Michael? Oh. Yeah, no, I think the singer stole George Michael's name.
Yeah, sounds about right.
George Michael Sports Machine. And he always did like the rodeo from like Cody, Wyoming. He always had rodeo clips.
That's fantastic.
I loved George. Think about it though. That's the only way you got highlights was on
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
TV
where else
news
would you? Right.
and sports. There was no ESPN. There was no ESPN. I read a story about ESPN the other day, which was riveting. The guy who started ESPN, and he got fired from like the Hartford Whalers. He was a PR guy for the Hartford Whalers, and he got fired because they were going to go in a different direction
Or move the team.
Yeah, and he was like, "All right, this isn't working. I don't know. Let me figure this out here." And he wanted to do a show, like a sports show, and he wanted to syndicate a sports show. So he calls up one of the satellite companies and he asks, how much money would it cost to buy time on a satellite? And the guy told him, and he was like, wow, that's expensive. He goes, yeah, it actually, the funny thing about it is that is really expensive. He goes, what's really weird is it's cheaper to buy like 24 hours than it is 1 hour. And the guy goes, huh, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, look, if you wanted to buy 24 hours a day of satellite time, I could sell it to you for, cheaper than I could an hour. And the guy goes, let me get back to you. And he goes, how about a 24-hour sports channel? And people are like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Why would you, when sports 24 hours? He cobbled together a couple of investors, went back to the satellite guy and said, I'll do it. And started ESPN, and he put entertainment in there because he got so much pushback about sports. Who wants to watch sports 24 hours a day? That he put the entertainment in there to sort of help people think it wasn't just sports.
What is it? Entertainment, sports?
Entertainment and Sports Network, ESPN.
What's the P? Sports?
Programming. The Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bristol, Connecticut was in the middle of nowhere, so he got cheap studio space and satellite time and just started running, whatever he could find sports-wise.
Yeah, they ran a lot of weird stuff.
A lot of weird stuff. And
it was like Wide World of Sports on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Well, and the story, again, apparently Anheuser-Busch, and at one point, and I heard this straight from an Anheuser-Busch executive, early on, they didn't have any money. And they were hemorrhaging cash. And they go to Anheuser-Busch and they said, we need $1 million. And Anheuser-Busch says, all right, here's the deal. We'll give you $1 million, but we want one commercial every hour of every day in perpetuity. And the guy was like, what else you need?
Yeah, right.
And they said, we will produce for you programming and you'll air it on ESPN. And they said, great idea. And that's when the Budweiser boating series started showing up on ESPN. And they started to notice that people at 3:00 in the morning were watching Budweiser boating races. And they were like, maybe we have something here. And that was the early days of ESPN. What an amazing story, right? I don't know.
Wow.
Right?
Well, that 24 hours is cheaper than...
Right. Yeah. How many times do somebody, well, no, if you wanted to buy the whole thing, it's cheaper. Well, I don't need the whole thing.
Right.
I don't need 24 hours. I just need an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, you know what? Maybe if I take this 24 hours and I turn it into something? And that is the beginning of...
Is that how the 24-hour news cycle started too?
I think 24-hour news was already...
around the same
it was right
time.
around the same time. That
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner, yeah. Ted Turner and CNN was sort of already in... It was in the early stages, but they were already doing something like that, yeah. And then they had, remember Van Earl Wright? You go at 20 and 50, you'd switch over to headline news, and Van Earl Wright would give you the sports headlines. And I'm Van Earl Wright. It was fantastic. And then his Mark McGuire went deep. Cardinals win 4-2. That was before that, but yeah, it was good. It was good. That was the only way to get the news. You couldn't go to your phone. 7:15, Captain Paul Kopsky, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
McGraw, there's a crash on 255 West at Telegraph with the slowdown back to the JB Bridge. Estimated clearance time is 7:40. 270 North is a little slow from 55 to Gravois. North of Wentzville in Flint Hill, 61 South is running slow between Route P and I-70. And 5570 West is jammed between Black Lane and Illinois 111. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
Unfortunately, this heat and humidity sticks around right through the weekend. The high today in the mid to upper 90s, the heat index 105 possibly, and we'll probably see a few showers or thunderstorms that could at least temporarily give us a little bit of relief from the heat. Could see a few showers around for the morning commute, and then another round of afternoon thunderstorms is possible, and one or two of those could be strong. We're looking for a high again in the mid 90s and that heat index well over 100. Then it's all about sunshine, heat, and humidity through the weekend. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kent Earhart for the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's talk Dents Express. And if you got a ding or a dent on the car, you know where to go. Dents Express, they are your go-to. They can fix anything, and they'll save you all sorts of money. The worst part is your car looks terrible. You have that ding, that dent, that scratch, and every time you get in, right, your eye goes right to it. Oh, man, it drives you crazy. Look, here's what you do. Call up Dents Express. and make an appointment. And then when the appointment comes, just go in and say, look, guys, fix it. Do what you do. And they'll do it. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll file all the claims. They do offer free estimates, but all you have to do is just make an appointment. They specialize in paintless dent removal. They specialize in hail damage. They also specialize in minor collisions. You and I would call it major. They, of course, the industry jargon is minor, and so they get it fixed. DentsExpressSTL.com. They work with all insurance companies, and they make it hassle-free. When you get the car back, you won't even know it was there. That annoying little ding and scratch is long gone. DentsExpressSTL.com. 2 locations. The Manchester location on Baldwin, and then the one in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Zippers Up. I'm getting ready to MC the Mater Media Speaker Series. We're bringing in some big names: Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, John O'Leary, other national personalities. We're going to be at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts, Lindenwood University, beginning in September. Go to matermedia.org. That's MATERMEDIA.org. Early bird pricing going on now. Don't wait. Tickets are going fast.
I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor with Capital Advisory Group. Now, more than ever, having a tax strategy to protect and grow your wealth is an absolute must. Every Saturday, Josh Gilbert and I will discuss how you can keep what's yours, because the most important part of your wealth plan is your tax plan. That's Keep What's Yours this Saturday afternoon.
Capital Advisory Group presents Keep What's Yours with Jeff Zufall and Josh Gilbert this Saturday afternoon at 3 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again, because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lauren, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
If your parents were buying a home tomorrow, would you represent them any differently than one of your clients?
Not a chance. And when I say that, I mean, I treat my clients exactly like I'd treat my parents. Same honesty, same advice, same negotiation. Every client gets the same service.
Okay, second question. If one of your closest friends called you and said, I found a house, I'm in love with it, but you knew it was a bad decision, what would you do?
I've already done it before. I tell them no, don't buy it. My job isn't to sell people houses. It's to help them make good decisions. And sometimes that means they don't get to buy anything that day.
That's exactly why I've sent my friends and family to Lauren for years.
I mean, it's simple. Buying and selling a house, it's a big deal. And people deserve to have someone who's willing to tell them what they need to hear and not just what they want to hear.
Exactly. If you already know Lauren from listening every week, then you already know the kind of person she is. When it's time to make your move, give Lauren Risley Realty a call at 314-775-0684.
Live from Studio 550, this is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
ABC News. Fill us in.
Well, Caroline Levitt says she's going to be spending more time with her family. The president posted on social media yesterday that it's a decision he totally understands and respects. I'd be very curious to hear more from Caroline about it, because she has now a 3-month-old girl, a 2-year-old son, and is only 28. And it's reported that over the span of her very brief month-long maternity leave, the president repeatedly reached out to her to try to get her to work. So she's stepping away and is going to, according to the president, remain as an outside advisor who will be influential in the Republican Party. And now the president is in a position to decide who will succeed Caroline Levitt as press secretary.
Yeah, Stephen, you know this better than anybody, but people inside Washington, inside the White House, will say that she is one of his most trusted advisors, not just his spokesperson.
I think that's fair to say. And she has made reference repeatedly in her briefings to the fact that she is in the Oval Office, spending time with the president, asking him questions about his views so that she can then properly translate and represent them to the public. And that is something that not every press secretary is able to do. But in this case, Caroline Levitt has been a trusted advisor and truly has been close to the center of power and decision-making. But ultimately, and Trump himself has said this, he's his own best spokesperson because no one on his staff, except perhaps a small number of people like Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, or perhaps Dan Scavino or Natalie Harp, who sometimes types out his Twitter messages or Truth Social posts. There's a small people who truly do understand exactly what the president is doing time or what decisions are about to be made. Everybody else is kind of sort of just along for the ride and waiting to see what he will say. And so there's a reticence, I think, inside the White House at times for people who are employed to speak on behalf of the administration to do that because they don't know, per se, what the president's thinking is. Few do until he's asked, and then he represents his thinking.
It also comes at a very interesting time. The midterms are right around the corner. You've got the Iranian war going on, all sorts of controversies everywhere. So this position, don't kid yourself, is a pretty important position.
Yes, it is. And, varying press secretaries have used it to varying degrees of effectiveness and with different kinds of cadences in terms of how often they give briefings. Caroline has not held daily briefings. She's held irregular briefings on an unpredictable cadence. It'll be interesting to see if she holds one. Maybe she'll hold one today. The president's in town. We don't know. It could be sprung upon us at pretty late notice. In other respects, other press secretaries, certainly in the Biden era, tried to get back to a regular daily briefing. One thing that Caroline Leavitt did do is she remade the press room. And this is important. I mean, she didn't affect the seating chart, which is controlled by the WHCA, the White House Correspondents Association, and she respected that. But what she did do was she supplemented it with a new media seat, as they call it, up in front, which formerly was only reserved for staff members. And she began the briefings by calling on this new media representative, which most often was a friendly voice in the conservative movement, an activist sometimes, rather than a traditional journalist. You also saw her and the then communications director, Taylor Buttigieg, bringing in more friendly voices, excluding the traditional news wires, which had served to cover the president for newspapers and radio and television stations all across the country since the dawn of time and the beginning of a White House press corps itself. And instead, the addition again of friendly voices, outfits that are fledgling and had barely been heard of, really, before the second term of Donald Trump.
Yeah, indulge me, Stephen Portnoy. You've been in that space quite a number of times. People only know it from watching it on TV and or watching The West Wing. It's a very small room, is it not?
It is. It's a tiny little theater built on top of what was once a tiny swimming pool, an indoor swimming pool built by FDR to treat his polio, ultimately boarded up by Richard Nixon and turned into a what was then 42 seats, ultimately now are 49 seats in a small, tight auditorium-style seating situation. And behind it, we have what we call the equipment racks, and then there are booths both upstairs and below in a basement where the reporters have their workspaces and the television and radio networks have their booths, and it's all very tight quarters.
Yeah, those radio booths are the size of a postage stamp, right?
About a closet, yes. I mean, literally, just what we call a tracking booth or something, just to literally fit in a chair, and you close the door behind you.
Yeah. Any word on who's going to take her spot?
I dare not speculate.
Okay.
I will say this. I don't see a natural choice in Caroline Leavitt's office right now. I don't see a deputy that's been groomed, someone who's been given tryouts, someone the president would necessarily feel comfortable with representing him at this moment. I think it's possible if he's going to choose someone who it'll be probably someone from the outside, either from an agency who has developed a profile or from perhaps cable television. It's also possible that he will put in a placeholder and have that person, and as we saw in the first term with Stephanie Grisham, not hold briefings at all.
Stephen Portnoy, great stuff, great color, as always. Be safe. Thanks for checking in.
You bet.
You got it. Stephen Portnoy, one of the good ones.
So I didn't realize the press secretary, they're the ones that control they dictate how often they do
anything they want.
Briefings and stuff. Like I thought it was like the president calls like, okay, now you need to do this. Like
That's exactly how it works.
Oh.
I mean, it's kind of, there are no answers. There are no rules. It's all based on, all sorts of give and take and what message do you want out and how the cat and mouse game between the White House press corps and everything else. 727 here, Big 550 KTRS. This flock camera controversy is getting some crazy stories. The more you start to scratch the surface on these stories about these flock cameras that are everywhere and being abused, just about every time you turn around, there's another story about how they're being abused to track innocent people, innocent bystanders for personal reasons. And so the controversy is flaming. And Brad Garrett's going to join us here in about 7 or 8 minutes. And then Jim Ryan's got the story of Amelia Earhart for the 745th time. Have they really actually found Amelia Earhart and the plane? The endearing mystery continues. Jim Ryan's going to talk about it at 7:50. St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul Kopsky.
McGraw crash on 255 West at Telegraph has been moved to the shoulder with traffic still slow back to the JB Bridge. 270 North is slow at times from Gravois to Gravois, 55 to Gravois. North of Wentzville and Flint Hill, 61 South is heavy between Route A and I-70. And 5570 West is jammed between 255 and Illinois 111. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
78 degrees. It is going to be hazy, hot, and humid all day today with heat indices over 100, an extreme heat warning until 9 p.m. tonight. We had some pretty big showers overnight that caused some damage, maybe some power outages, some downed power lines. So check on mom and dad and the dogs. 7:28. Let's go to the newsroom. Here's Rose Dalton.
This newscast is brought to you by Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. The search for life in the rubble of Colombia's powerful earthquake is growing more desperate as search teams push up against a key time threshold to locate survivors before it's too late. At least 265 people died and hundreds have been reported missing. The Associated Press has found that the decision by the United States to slash its foreign aid funding last year has increased pregnancy complications and deaths in Nepal. The AP interviewed health workers, government officials, aid workers, and families who said cuts to programs that ensured uneducated, impoverished pregnant women got proper nutrition and prenatal care have led to more babies and pregnant women dying preventable deaths. In local headlines, an extreme heat warning in the St. Louis area has been extended until Saturday night. Those in need of a cooling shelter or transportation to a cooling shelter should call the United Way at 211. And the Animal Protective Association of Missouri has been awarded a $25,000 grant from the Gray Muzzle Organization to strengthen local efforts to support vulnerable senior dogs in our community. The funding will provide more senior pets with access to critical veterinary care and supplies. Are you or a family member turning 65, and are you happy with your current plan? For the right plan, call the Medicare man, Brian Raphael, at 314-368-6808. 78 degrees. Time now is 7:30. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Beatty Roofing is one of the big four originally back years ago. Beatty Roofing was a commercial roofer, and they did some of the biggest jobs in St. Louis. The Convention Center, the Magic House, Lambert Airport, the Science Center. Man, those are some serious projects. And who did they trust? Beatty Roofing. So if it's good enough for the St. Louis Science Center, now that they're doing residential roofs, Beatty Roofing might just be perfect for your roof. With these storms that came through overnight, again, you're going to wake up and you're going to see tree limbs. They might have done damage to the roof. You might have sprung a leak somewhere. Maybe it's time to talk about replacing the whole roof. That's where Beatty Roofing comes in. Beatty Roofing, again, commercial for years and years. In the last number of years, they've now opened up a residential division, and they've all the expertise and all the stuff they learned and the experience they learned from the commercial side, they're now able to do on the residential side. And you and I benefit from that because at Beatty Roofing, they have project managers on site each and every day. It's an extra set of eyes and ears to make sure the crew is doing it right so that nothing goes wrong and it's done right the first time. They'll work with all insurance companies. They'll make sure the house is taken care of from beginning to end, and when they leave, you won't even know they've been there, and your roof is brand new. First responders get 10% off discounts, and Beatty Roofing, big supporters of local charities, which is why you want to keep it local. Don't go with the out-of-towners. When someone's knocking on your door, be very suspect. Call Beatty Roofing, B-A-D-E, Beatty Roofing, 314-892-1331 or BeattyRoofing.com.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill Show for Success St. Louis Style as they feature a St. Louis in making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club.
Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischesskclub.org.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it.
That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
If your home has been the place everyone gathers this summer, you already know how much the little things matter. The sunlight pouring through the windows, the patio door that's constantly opening for kids, friends, and family, the front door welcoming everyone from neighbors to weekend guests. Those everyday moments deserve windows and doors that are just as beautiful as the memories being made around them. That's why so many homeowners choose Renewal by Andersen for beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors designed for lasting comfort, energy efficiency, and timeless style. And for a limited time, take $385 off every replacement window and $785 off every replacement patio or entry door. With flexible financing available, now is a great time to invest in the home you love. Scheduling your free window and diagnosis couldn't be easier. Just dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say the keyword windows. No phone number, no searching online. Just pound 250 and the keyword windows. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Since 1964, Royal Banks of Missouri has proudly called St. Louis home. Over 60 years later, we offer 15 convenient locations with 2 new branches coming soon in South St. Louis County and Glen Carbon, Illinois. With customized solutions and a local team you can count on, Royal Banks of Missouri is invested in your financial success. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to LuptonMillardChapel.com.
If you're from St. Louis, you likely have a Maggie O'Brien story. Maggie O'Brien's has become an iconic local hotspot for St. Louis sports, holiday parties, corporate and private events in downtown St. Louis for food and fun with distinctive Irish flair. Do check out their location in Sunset Hills. Maggie O's.
This is the McGraw Show on KTR.
ABC News crime and terrorism analyst joins us each and every time to talk about the news of the day. Brad Garrett, good morning. Thanks for checking in.
You're welcome, McGraw.
Let's talk about these flock cameras. They seem to be everywhere, and they seem to be getting a lot of bad press recently.
So it's interesting about the bad press because, yes, they are out there. Yes, they produce high-resolution shots of your car, your license plate, and maybe even of you if you're close enough and the light's right, etc. Even down to maybe scratches, dents, broken lights, etc., which all becomes super helpful if you're tracking somebody that just killed someone or just abducted a child or whatever it might be. So we can go on and on about the positive use of flock cameras. There appears to be 2 things going on. One is, for some reason, people believe that they are a privacy issue, that they overstep the bounds of privacy and that they shouldn't be allowed. In fact, some people have even damaged them in certain jurisdictions so they wouldn't work. Now, if you think about the number of cameras, take away flock for 5 seconds. The number of cameras that watch where you and I and others go every day between CCTV of city, county, state governments, law enforcement, and the estimates are like there are 85, this is a guess, of course, 85 million cameras in this country. If you count the ones on your house, my house, the neighbor's house, and then all the ones we just mentioned, among more, if you didn't have flock, you're still going to get captured in some other form or fashion, but maybe not as efficiently as flock could do it.
So is it the technology the problem or the humans who are abusing the technology?
Well, there's clearly a number of complaints, and rightly so, of officers going in and looking up things like tracking ex-girlfriends or ex-wives, personal stuff. versus what it was designed to be used for, which is what you and I are talking about. And, there is a resolution to that. And in fact, I even think Flock provides a safety system where you can track. If you or I were on the St. Louis Police Department and we logged in and started pulling addresses or pulling cars that have something to do with one person, and we do it several times, it's going to show that we logged in, what we looked at, and when we logged off. And of course, somebody would have to monitor that. But the point being, that's a way to sort of curtail that abuse. The other, and I don't know this, but I'm going to guess it, that has the system been used to track undocumented immigrants? In other words, has ICE gotten into the systems? I don't know that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's true, or that ICE makes requests to police departments to run certain tags to see if they can locate a car. That may be an emotional hot button for some people.
So who sets them up? The cities, the police departments, the towns, the states? Who's the one contracting with Flock to get these cameras up?
I think it would be primarily law enforcement, but it depends on your jurisdiction, whether the city, county folks, would be the ones to fund it. But clearly, who would oversee it, to your point, would be law enforcement.
Yeah. There was a story here in St. Louis where a Brentwood police officer is accused of logging into the system and following his ex-wife, which is, those stories are all over the place. And so there's a lot of pushback, both liberals and conservatives upset over this.
Yeah, I totally get that. But think about it also, McGraw, this way. If you drive around St. Louis, I'd be surprised if you don't see certain marked cars with two boxes mounted on the rear deck next to the trunk lid. Those are license plate readers. They're just driving around. And those have been used for years. Nobody seems to have complained about those, but it's capturing, obviously wherever the limitations of the car is moving, but they're capturing basically the same thing that Flock captures.
Yeah. And so how this would work is if somebody wanted to know where Brad Garrett was, they just type in, show me Brad Garrett's car, and Flock would then somehow read your license plate when you drove by one of the cameras and they would spot you?
I assume you could put in, let's say, a dark gray Toyota with, Missouri tags. And because you're already in the proximity, I assume, maybe of where a crime has occurred recently, an abduction or a murder or whatever. And then the combination of that, then may be able to narrow it down. If you have a tag number, obviously it'd be easy.
Right.
You just put that in and see where it goes. But there have been cases where they literally have tracked abductions, like within minutes after they occur, with these Flock cameras. And law enforcement was able to grab the victim and maybe save somebody's life.
Yeah, so it's the positive and the negative all at once here. Hey, Brad, while we have you real quick, $20 million ICE wants to spend on electric shock gloves. What are your thoughts on this story?
Well, and these, I've never seen a pair of them. Apparently they look very similar to what, officers tend to wear gloves, not all, but many do, just for the obvious. They're handling people all day long in some form or fashion or close to them. And so I think that's what these gloves look like. However, they've got a built-in voltage system that if you push a button, they give you a shock. I think the folks who make those gloves would say it's kind of like a bee sting. But I think the problem is, how do you control who uses it, who doesn't? It's one thing to pull a taser out, point it at somebody, and shoot it. It's pretty... You know that somebody has used a taser on somebody else. The problem with these gloves is, and you got 6 officers on top of somebody, are they going overboard administering shocks?
Yeah.
So it would be difficult to control, I guess, is the short answer.
Brad Garrett, ABC News. We'll leave it there. Have a good day. Thanks for checking in.
You're welcome. See you, McGraw.
642, Big 550, KTRS.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one. A moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer. That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Make the decision to upgrade your deck or patio into the special place you've always imagined. Jill Farmer from my friends at Patriot Build Sunrooms, and they're offering you a free design consultation for a beautiful sunroom, patio cover, power shades, outdoor kitchen, or anything else you can dream up. Now's the perfect time to invest in comfort, beauty, and lasting value. Enjoy more light, more nature, more life in a Patriot sunroom. Call today, 314-822-3232. Patriot Builds STL, or visit them 811 South Kirkwood Road.
Gelmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Gelmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here is Captain Paul Kopsky.
McGraw, there's an accident in the westbound lanes of the Poplar Street Bridge with stop-and-go traffic back to Barack Obama Boulevard. We have a crash on 70 East at 64 with a backup to Pierce. A crash on 255 West at Telegraph is still off on the shoulder with traffic slow back to the JB Bridge. 270 North is heavy from 44 up to Manchester. North of Wentzville in Flint Hill, 61 South is heavy between Route A and I-70. And 64 West is jammed between Illinois 111 and 5570. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu and upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm meteorologist Chance Couch with your First Alert forecast. We are continuing our string of First Alert weather days from today through Sunday afternoon. Each and every afternoon, going to be seeing the feels like temperature surpassing that triple-digit mark once again. This afternoon, a few isolated showers and storms, not as widespread. Going to be seeing a feels like temperature up to 107 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Isolated storm chances once again Friday. Most of us dry. This weekend, a lot of sunshine, but going to continue to see that high heat until a cold front with some scattered showers and storms arrives into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch for the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk Miller Furniture. No, let's talk Jacob. The Jacob Baths. Let's do that. Can we do that? No, let's talk. We'll talk Miller Furniture. Let's do Miller Furniture. We'll talk Jacobs in a minute. Miller Furniture is where you want to go before you do your bath, after you do your bath, whatever. You gotta get a new bath and new furniture. Miller Furniture, 4 area locations, 1 great furniture store. You know they're coming up on 100 years as a family-run business, which is fantastic. They've got Chatham and Wells mattresses with a free adjustable base. You think furniture, also think mattresses. when it comes to Miller Furniture. You can get financing, use their money for the next 60 months to make those payments and spread those out and make it not so painful when you're buying this stuff. They are the best, whether it's the salespeople and the interior designers who help you mix and match, whether it's the delivery staff and everybody else from top to bottom. Mark Miller understands that his family's name is on the door and his family's name is on the truck. And they do everything they can to make sure you are totally and completely satisfied. The styles, the designs, the quality, it's all there at Miller Furniture. That's all you need to know. So when you're looking and you want a great company with great products, beautiful styles, designs that will last, and 60 months free financing, Miller Furniture, 4 area locations. Find the one nearest you. MUELLER, MillerFurniture.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I want your fixer-upper home. It's crazy to spend a ton of money fixing it up when I will pay you top dollar right now. I don't even care what condition it's in. Your trash is my treasure. No inspections, no contingencies, just cold, hard cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's Mike Robinson, 314-283-0867, or at robangproperties.com.
One thing, I try to do is not think about all the money I have to spend. But sometimes it goes through your head and you think, I got to buy this, I got to spend money on that. But the money that you spent on your house is probably the biggest single purchase you've ever made. So it makes sense to protect it. And you know what? There might be things going on up top there on the roof that you can't see. Allen Roofing can. They don't even have to go up there. They could send some drones up to have a look, find out the problem, give a diagnosis, sit down with you and say, what shall we do from here to protect that asset of yours that you spent all that money on? It only makes sense, whether it's a roof, whether it's siding, tuck pointing, anything to do with the outside of your house. They will help you protect it. Find them online at aroofing.net.
For the last 33 years, we've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do I hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
Jim Ryan, we love a good Amelia Earhart story. She pops up in the news every now and again. What's the latest with Amelia Earhart?
She's still missing. So is her plane and the navigator who was with her. Still gone. But it's the group, and it's like any mystery or any legend like this, and especially if they don't know exactly what happened. I mean, the Kennedy assassination, that's a big mystery and conspiracies, but we have video, we have film of what happened that day. Elvis, yes, he actually did die and was buried, etc. But Amelia Earhart, we don't know where she is. We don't know where her Lockheed Electra is, or Fred Noonan. They disappeared on July 2nd, 1937, a long time ago. And ever since, people have been trying to figure out what happened. Did she run out of fuel? That's the working theory, is that her plane simply ran out of fuel, and they lost radio contact and went down somewhere in the South Pacific. They were trying to get to Howland Island to get refueled, but that didn't happen. So now some folks who've been studying the area, they're doing a block-by-block search and looking at satellite images. They found something unusual on Nikumaroro Island, which is down in the South Pacific, a few hundred miles away from Howland. And their satellite images, I'm looking at it right now, there in the lagoon is something, kind of a shape, maybe like an outline of a plane, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, this crew of people, 16 team members, are going to go out there and take an expedition in October, a ship down there. They're going to have all sorts of equipment with them. They're going to get over there and take a look and see if maybe it is the wreckage of the Lockheed Electra that Amelia Earhart was.
Wow. Is this in conjunction with who and what? And is like the History Channel doing something like this?
Maybe not something like that with them. But yeah, it's Purdue University where Amelia Earhart worked. There's also a group called the Archaeological Legacy Institute. The plan, Amelia Earhart's plan, was to take her Lockheed Electra after flying around the world in it and put it on display there at Purdue University. And so that school has always had kind of a vested interest in seeing what happened to Amelia Earhart. And the plan, perhaps, if they do find it, and it was the wreckage of the Lockheed Electra, they may take it back and put it on display at Purdue.
Wow.
At least what's left of it.
Okay, so I'm looking at this satellite photo now, and it could look very much like a plane. It could look like a couple of big giant sticks in the water.
Right.
Can't they send somebody there and say, hey, can you check on this for me before they send the expedition? Or, are they pretty confident that this is actually the plane?
People have done that, and yeah, they haven't been able to find anything there. It's underwater much of the time. It is often this lagoon. And there was actually a settlement on that. It's uninhabited, right? This is a tiny little atoll out there, and there's a big lagoon in the middle. It's a volcanic island with a lagoon, and it's no stranger to disasters. If you're looking at that image, satellite image, you see up there on the northwest corner, the SS Norwich City. That was a British cargo ship that was lost at sea in 1929 and ran aground on Nicomaroro Island. 11 crew members were killed. Some of the others were rescued, but it's still sitting there all these years later. Not much of it. But so this place is no stranger to disaster, essentially.
Wow. And this is nowhere near where they've been looking all these years?
It's in the same kind of area. But, that whole South Pacific region outside of Howland Island has been the subject of searches all these years. And they've found things out there occasionally, nothing to confirm that it belonged to Amelia Earhart. Consider this, though. Consider the odds that they might actually have made it to land. If you're looking at the satellite image, there is not much out there. It is vast, the ocean out there. So to actually find an atoll, a little island to land on at a Lockheed Electra with no fuel, it'd be pretty lucky.
Well, and no fuel and no, 21st century navigation, and you're, basically looking out the plane looking for something, right? It's
right. Yeah, they were in radio contact with ships in the area, but they lost radio contact, and that was pretty much it. They just disappeared.
Amazing. All right, so stay tuned. This sounds promising that they might have found it.
Promising, maybe. Cool, absolutely.
Yeah, no question about it. Jim Ryan, good stuff. Thanks for checking in, Jim. Have a good day.
See ya.
You got it. 7:55 here, Big 550 KTRS. Jim was talking about the Kennedy conspiracy, and we've got pictures and everything. Last night on the nighttime show I was doing, I had a guest on who has written a book about the Kennedy assassination. Now, before you start saying, oh my goodness, another book about the Kennedy assassination, it was the story of a group of women called the Housewives Underground, who sat in their homes and researched the Warren Commission and looked at autopsies and asked for freedom of information requests. And they were like the first, I don't know what to call them, conspiracy theorists, but the first group of people to sort of question all of these things. And there's this group of women around the country who sort of networked with each other and fanned the flames of the Kennedy assassination in terms of maybe this isn't what the government's telling us.
So what did people doubt? Was there
everything,
was a second
everything.
gunman on the grassy knoll?
Everything, whatever conspiracy you have today.
The Warren Commission was lying.
Right. Yeah. All of the conspiracy theories of today, you can trace all the way back to these women and these housewives back in the 60s who painstakingly de-researched all this. And the best part, the most interesting part of this Caitlin Tiffany, who wrote the book, The Housewives Underground, is that in 1967, 68, 69, 70, where would you go if you had a theory that the Kennedy assassination was somewhat nefarious?
Like, who would you tell?
You wouldn't go to Facebook. You wouldn't go to Twitter. The evening news wouldn't cover it, right? Because you were some crazy housewife. They went to radio. And they went to talk radio. And the talk radio, they would go to these towns and they would be on late night radio. And there was one story of one Philadelphia radio station. They had so many phone calls that this one radio station kept them on for like 3 hours, just taking phone calls overnight about, what about this and what about the magic bullet and what about this and what this? And these women helped fan the flames of the conspiracy theory by going on talk radio and answering questions from the audience.
So did they settle on one conspiracy?
No,
Whatever happened with these ladies?
That's a good question. It all broke apart because
they couldn't agree.
They couldn't agree. There were different factions. There were different
Are there
agendas.
any? Do you know any ladies? Are there any ladies that were?
They've all passed away.
Oh, okay.
But they've left their papers to certain, organizations and.
Yeah, right. Where's all their research?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was called the Housewives Underground. It was like the first QAnon. Huh. But they went to talk radio.
And how did they get started if they didn't have the? You know what I mean? How did they get the word out? Nationwide, right? You said
they
it was
wrote
scattered
letters to the editors. They wrote things like that, and then people found them.
How did they organize?
Not through Facebook, but through
Don't you love the question like that? Like, what did we do?
There was a woman
before the internet.
A woman in Oklahoma and a woman in New York became best friends because both of them were working. You take this, I'll take that, and we'll sort of share our research together.
Wow.
But the book was called The Housewives Underground. The untold story of the women who made the JFK assassination our most endearing mystery. It's an amazing story. Pretty interesting.
The Real Housewives of the Underground.
The Real Housewives,
produced by St. Louis's Andy Cohen.
Yeah, where's Andy Cohen when
right?
you need him? There's the Real Housewives. Instead of putting Botox in your lips, they were investigating the Kennedy assassination.
Conspiracies and
St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Good morning, Captain Paul.
Good morning. A crash on 70 West at 141 is blocking the two right lanes and causing a backup to 270. There's an accident in the westbound lanes of the Poplar Street Bridge with a bumper-to-bumper backup to 64. We have a crash on 70 East at 64. And this traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. And coming up after the news, we'll have more with McGraw here on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
From St. Louis and beyond, are you ready to resume football? Tigers knock off South Carolina. This is your home for all the action. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
The Big 550
KTRS St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Another snapshot of the economy and prices and inflation. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on the Producer Price Index released a few minutes ago.
The PPI is a forward-looking economic indicator that offers hints at costs that industry may pass along to consumers in the months ahead. In June, wholesale prices saw their steepest decline in over a year. Last month, the trend essentially held steady, although producer prices were 4.7% higher last month than in July of 2025.
Producer prices also seen as an indicator of wholesale inflation. Applications for unemployment benefits rose last week. 209,000 people applied for jobless claims, up from a revised 200,000 the week before. Now, those numbers are similar to where they've been all year, suggesting people who have jobs are fairly secure, but companies are not really hiring at all right now. The Army still looking into the Apache helicopter crash near Fort Hood Wednesday that killed 2 soldiers in Texas. No word on a cause. On trial in California, the owner of Facebook and Instagram over the harm caused by their social media platforms. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Jury selection kicked off in federal court in Oakland, California, Wednesday, in a case brought against Meta by a coalition of state attorneys general. They claim that Meta engineered its platforms to get young people hooked and illegally collected their data. Now, the state AGs are seeking changes to Meta's apps for people under age 18, including ending infinite scrolling, video autoplay, and like counts. They also want Meta to tweak its algorithm to prioritize content that promotes well-being for young users.
Flooding across much of Indiana on Wednesday. Major damage and water rescues, and ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z says there's more rain on the way.
Unfortunately, we are stuck because of this stationary front in this pattern. The next couple of days, that's Saturday, 6 a.m., you get another one of those MCSs headed towards Chicago and eventually into Indiana. So a very wet stretch ahead.
You're listening to ABC News.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
SSM Healthcare Corporation seeks a full-time quality improvement manager in St. Louis, Missouri to plan and lead activities to develop, implement, support, and promote the organization's quality improvement programs, lead quality initiatives to improve quality of care and services for the organization, and assist in the development and evaluation of annual quality management programming and documentation. Evaluate and analyze the effectiveness of quality improvement activities. May work remotely from anywhere in Missouri. Send resume to Jennifer McClure, Human Resources Corporate Business Partner, SSM Health, JENNIFER.MCCLURE at ssmhealth.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. with the Animal Advice Show. We'll talk about everything regarding dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. We'll discuss nutrition, training, regular checkups, invite special guests, and of course, answer your questions. Join us every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
77 degrees at 8:04. Here's what's happening now. A Maplewood apartment complex is temporarily condemned after a 2-alarm fire. Firefighters were called to a fire around 3 this morning at the Pepper Tree Apartments on Bellevue Avenue. One of the residents was taken to an area hospital for smoke inhalation and is expected to be okay. Fire officials say the fire burned through the second and third floors as well as the roof. All of the residents have been taken to an area fire station. Plans are being made to find the residents temporary housing. The state fire marshal has been called in to investigate the cause of the fire. The Parkway Board of Education voted unanimously Wednesday to place a 46-cent operating tax levy on the November 3rd ballot. The measure will ask Parkway voters whether to provide additional operating revenue to maintain staffing, academic programs, classroom resources, school safety, student activities, and long-term financial stability. The board's decision came after months of financial planning and community engagement. This past spring, Parkway held community meetings and conducted surveys to gather feedback from residents about the district's path forward. Rosati Kane Academy has a new leader. The Catholic high school has named Terry Murray as its new principal. He began his career as a history teacher at St. Louis University High before advancing through a variety of teaching, coaching, and administrative leadership roles at the Hockaday School in Dallas, Mary Institute in St. Louis Country Day School, and Visitation Academy. Murray's priorities in his first year will focus on 3 key areas: community, academics, and consistency. He hopes to continue to strengthen the connections among students, families, faculty, and alumni, advance Rosati Kane's academic excellence, and build sustainable systems and processes that support the school's long-term success. A milestone is approaching for one of our local highways. KTRS's Brendan Weesey has the story.
Missouri holds a unique place in our nation's history as the birthplace of the interstate highway system. 70 years ago, construction began on I-70 in St. Charles, creating the first segment of what would grow into one of America's most transformative transportation networks. To commemorate this occasion, the Missouri Department of Transportation is hosting an anniversary event celebrating 70 years of I-70 with an open house tomorrow from 1 until 3 at the St. Charles Convention Center. There will be live music, classic cars, and even a special guest appearance by Fred Bird. I'm Brendan Weesey, KTRS News.
The nearly 3-month Teamsters strike against Breakthrough Beverage is over. Union leaders say new contracts have been approved by drivers and warehouse workers at Breakthrough Beverage facilities in Cicero, Illinois, and St. Louis. The 3 4-year contracts include wage increases, protections for sick leave, and a pathway to earn seniority. The agreements also include protection of contract rights, such as the lawful right to not cross or work behind a Teamsters picket line at their respective locations. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. They'll place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. 78 degrees. Time now is 8:07. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right. Antonio French going to join us. Frank Cusimano is going to be in. And then the Regional Business Council President, Karen Branding. Well, that's not a perfect name for a president of a regional business council. She clearly changed her name to Karen Branding. I mean, that's like I work for Flashman Hilliard. What's your name? Steve Marketing.
Yeah.
You're McGraw Radio.
Right.
My name is Radio Brand. Karen Branding is her name. Born to be president of the Regional Business Council. That is coming up. Tomorrow on the show, Rick Klein, Dan Zarlinga, Will Gans, Johnny Londoff, Randy Carricker. Before we go any further, we have a relatively good working relationship with the afternoon show.
Yeah.
I would say.
We have one of them on every week.
We have Bob Ramsey on every week. So I would say that, even in the hallways, we have a relatively good, which is rare for radio stations, right? Normally the afternoon show and the morning show in other radio markets, there's petty jealousies with other shows and in the same building.
It's like the Socias and the Greasers back there.
Kind of, yeah.
It really is.
But this is a weird radio station in that, oddly, there's not a lot of backstabbing. There's not a lot, unless everyone's trying to backstab me and I don't know it.
Yeah, you just don't know about it.
We're
really good at it.
We all get along, and which is very strange. In all the radio stations I worked at, this is probably the most friendly amongst the other hosts, I would say.
Interesting.
Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you're not here as much as I am. You're out the door at 9, so
pretty much. Yeah, so I don't see anything.
Yeah, which is
I've heard about the rumblings in the hallway.
Yeah, but it's actually been very good. Even from the very beginning, when I started here, it's always been a sort of collegial, helpful. I mean, it helps that each of us are so very different and varied and have such different and varied shows. Mm-hmm. I'm not going after the backup drummer for Blue Oyster Cult, so Carney doesn't get mad at me.
But also, you and John just interviewed Bootsy Collins within a week of each other and had totally different 10-minute interviews.
Right, correct.
Because you're different styles.
Right, different styles, and we're interested in different things, and that's why the radio station works, is because we're all varied interests, and you get different points of view and everything else. But I got a problem with the afternoon show.
Let's hear it.
Yesterday, I was listening to the afternoon show. Tweedledum, Tweedledee, and Tweedledumbest. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. What? Me? The radio station, the radio show on the what? We did that. I'm listening, and they had on the show Dan Zarlinga.
What?
Wait a minute. Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
In person?
In studio, they had Dan Zarlinga.
Hold on.
Yep.
I mean, I know I'm still a newbie, and I'm still on quadruple secret probation here.
Yeah, you're probably on just single probation now. We've dropped some of the other twos.
All right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So they had Dan Zarlinga on the show yesterday. And at first I was, okay with it.
How did you find out? You heard him.
Listening.
Okay.
Listening.
Did you drive off? I would have driven off the road.
I could have, but my Johnny Londoff car is so well tuned that it drives right where it's going.
It goes beep, beep, beep if you get out.
Right. Yeah. No, it's drive a Johnny Londoff car. You're not allowed to get into an accident when you drive a Johnny Londoff car. So, and he was promoting this Nocturnal by Nature event that he's a big. Not only is it part of the Department of Conservation, but I think he's taken this is one of his babies,
nice. Okay.
his big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Nocturnal by Nature, and it's at the Bush Wildlife Reserve this weekend.
Didn't you do the 30-second commercial for this
event? I did. Yes. Dan asked me as a personal friend, could you please do this? And
waive your fee.
I waived my huge, enormous radio talent fee to do this. And so they're on there, and they're he's promoting this. And the three of them are peppering him with all sorts of questions about raccoons and mosquitoes and moths and birds. And I mean, they're just having a grand old time asking him all of these questions about nature. And at the end of the interview, thank you very much, Dan Zarlinga, have a good day. And the three of them say, man, we should have him on more often. He was great. And Josh says, well, McGraw has him on every other week. And Heidi says, well, maybe we could have him on the other weeks.
We have him every Friday. What do you mean every other?
Now you're starting to see the outrage.
Oh, also, have you directed any of this outrage to Dan? I mean, hello.
Well, no, I don't.
Betrayal.
I don't blame Dan because he was promoting his Nocturnal by Nature. So I don't mind allowing, guests one-off special appearances. But Dan Zarlinga is ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can get him once in a while if, God forbid, a meteor falls on a bird somewhere and you want to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know who'd be really good on our show, McGraw? Mike Ward would be great.
Mike Ward would be good. You know who'd be better? Mike Ward would be great on our show.
He came on once as an Altair guest.
Yeah, Lauren Risley would be wonderful on our show.
She loves us.
You know who'd be good on our show? Josh Gilbert would be great on our show.
So how did this end? Did they decide they're like, we're gonna, or they just like, it would be fun?
Well,
and then...
it ended by them reading some very derogatory texts about their show from my phone. From the text line. From the text line. This number looks awful familiar.
It's hilarious. Unbelievable.
I mean, I already lost Greg Willard.
Is nothing sacred?
I mean, old sweetheart, Jill Farmer. Hey, do you mind if we ask Greg Willard to come on our show? Sure. Meanwhile, now the guy's got a cubicle in an office here. He's on their show every day.
And a picture in the hallway.
Called him up the other day. He's like, I'd like to be on, but I'm on with Carney and the afternoon show and Cusimano, and it's unbelievable.
So
what
if Dan emailed you and said, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm now going to be doing a regular hit at Wednesdays at whatever.
Well, what on
the afternoon show?
show?
Would your response be dead to me?
Dead in all seriousness, actually it was a good segment, and they saw what we saw 10 years ago when we started doing Dan on the show. I would probably. He's become such a staple on the morning show. It wouldn't make any sense to do the afternoons.
How about
if they want a nature person?
Yes, thank
I'd
you.
say
Somebody
go find
else.
a nature guy.
Be like Dan.
Yeah.
We trust your. Go find. One of your other many cohorts who are excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was without getting too. I don't have time to tell this story, but I do not have time. Remind me sometime to tell the story. I don't have time to do it now. We got to get to Antonio French, who's apparently going to be on the afternoon show later today. Captain Paul Kopsky, who's going to be on the afternoon show as well. They already stole our traffic guy.
He's on with
both
Carney
and Carney. It's unbelievable. We discovered you. We found you. Just
everywhere.
Just like we found Amelia Earhart. Now we discovered Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Good morning, Captain Paul.
Good morning, McGraw. There's an accident in the westbound lanes of the Poplar Street Bridge with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to 64. We have a crash on 70 East at 64 with the stop-and-go back up to Hokel Parkway. A crash on 255 West at Telegraph is still blocking the right lane with traffic slow back to the JB Bridge. 270 North is heavy, but on the move from 44 to Manchester. North of Wentzville in Flint Hill, 61 South is busy between Route A and I-70. And 64 West is jammed between Illinois 111 and 5570. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
Unfortunately, this heat and humidity sticks around right through the weekend. The high today in the mid to upper 90s, the heat index 105 possibly, and we'll probably see a few showers or thunderstorms that could at least temporarily give us a little bit of relief from the heat. Could see a few showers around for the morning commute, and then another round of afternoon thunderstorms is possible, and one or two of those could be strong. We're looking for a high again in the mid 90s and that heat index well over 100. Then it's all about sunshine, heat, and humidity through the weekend. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kent Earhart for the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk about redoing your bath and your shower. And there's one company that'll do it right. That's Jacob Baths and Showers. They will put in a low threshold walk-in shower. They'll install grab bars and seats, non-stick surface for the shower floor, non-stick, non-slip, because that's where all the accidents happen, right? Getting in and out of the tubs. They'll take away those soap-filled doors from the 1980s, which got dirty the first week you had them, and you could never really clean them since. They'll take away all that stuff. Then they'll rebuild the 2x4s and all the structure, and they'll put in all the good stuff. They never overlay anything. That's the worst thing. When you're redoing a bathroom, never overlay the mold and the mildew. That is a recipe for disaster. Most installations at Jacob take about 1 to 2 days. Both sides of the river, they've got a wonderful showroom, so go in and see all the things you can do with your new bathroom. Fenton and in Fairview Heights. They've been doing this for 50 years, and their composite materials look like luxury stone, but aren't. Their composite materials look like tile and grout, but aren't. Comes with a lifetime guarantee and easy to clean. That's the most important part. So you get a new, refreshed bathroom with all the bells and whistles, easy to clean, 1 to 2 days. What are you waiting for? JacobBaths.com, 1-800-222-6676 or JacobBaths.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
One thing, I try to do is not think about all the money I have to spend. But sometimes it goes through your head and you think, I got to buy this, I got to spend money on that. But the money that you spent on your house is probably the biggest single purchase you've ever made. So it makes sense to protect it. And you know what? There might be things going on up top there on the roof that you can't see. Allen Roofing can. They don't even have to go up there. They can send some drones up to have a look, find out the problem, give a diagnosis, sit down with you and say, what shall we do from here to protect that asset of yours that you spent all that money on? It only makes sense, whether it's a roof, whether it's siding, tuck pointing, anything to do with the outside of your house. They will help you protect it. Find them online at aroofing.net.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Tune in to KTRS on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. for the Strategic Wealth Hour, hosted by experienced advisors Tom Haddican and Charlie Sanariva from Synergy Wealth Solutions. The Strategic Wealth Hour is a dynamic and engaging show designed to help listeners take control of their financial future with confidence by breaking down complex topics like retirement planning, wealth and investment management, and protection strategies you can actually use. That's the Strategic Wealth Hour on Sundays at 10 a.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Lionel Richie, live in concert. Playing at the Muni, Saturday, August 29th. Get tickets now at MetroTix.com.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londorf Chevrolet, the Londorf Autoplex, and Londorf.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
Eight 23 here, Big 550 KTRS. By the way, I love this song. We'll get to that at some other time when we're not checking in with Antonio French from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Good morning, Antonio French.
Hey, good morning.
Let's talk some national politics. We don't get to do that very often with the national primaries coming up here, and AOC, and she's now saying woke 1.0 was a bit of a mistake, kind of throwing Cori Bush under the bus a little bit.
Well, it looks like a little bit of reinvention here. I think it's clear she's getting ready for a run. So she probably is going to throw her hat in the ring. I'm sure much to the delight of Republicans. But in preparation of that, she's throwing her past beliefs and principles under the bus in one simple phrasing, which is woke one was crazy. Man, what? Those past comments? Oh my God, what was I thinking? So we'll see how that works. I don't think she's going to be able to shake a lot of her more extreme positions. But listen, she definitely appeals to a certain segment, and she speaks to them regularly, especially through her live streams and her Instagram and her TikToks, especially young women. That's their candidate, and she's talking directly to them right now. But as far as becoming a national brand, to actually be able to break out of just her kind of more liberal, progressive New York district to be a national figure, she is going to have to come to the middle. It's going to be interesting to see how her diehard supporters respond. They may feel betrayed.
Yeah, so let's talk about the left. You have to wonder, as she moves to try and position herself as more of a moderate, you wonder if the left is going to criticize her or sort of quote unquote abandoning the principles that got her where it got her.
Yes, you would definitely experience that. But that's part of the calculus. To be a national candidate, you are going to have to come to the middle. But there are definitely going to be people who had supported her, for who she was the poster child of, that kind of woke one rhetoric. That are going to feel betrayed. And those are also a very vocal population, especially online. So I'm sure she's getting it and will continue to get the hate and the backlash from that small group. But again, she's done the math, her and her advisors, is that there's more people on the other side of that. And that's who she's trying to appeal to now.
You have to wonder if like AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene are going to start doing a two-man comedy show at the Fox here at some point.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. We'll see what they do when their political careers are over. You're sometimes surprised about where they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that primary is going to be interesting. From a Democrat perspective, though, is we're nervous because we don't really have any candidates right now that we feel like that have that broad appeal. And I think the AOCs of the world see an opening right now. And they've seen how this has gone in the past, where even if you run and lose, it builds your profile enough to, you'll sell more tickets, you'll sell more books, so it's almost like foolish for them not to run, regardless of how it turns out.
So the criticized, yes, laughed at, mocked, sure, absolutely AOC. But the right doesn't have very far to go to show their hypocrisy. The J.D. Vances of the world called Trump a Nazi, right? Marco Rubio, Lindsey Graham, Glenn Beck, Ann Wagner, right? They all said this man is unfit to be president. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, realize he's the greatest man in the world.
Yes. It's so many clips of everybody on that side, saying what they really thought about Trump until, all of a sudden he's in power and they change their tunes. But all that stuff leads to how the public sees politicians in general. And frankly, that's not new. And that's what laid the groundwork for Trump to come in, because unfortunately, the general public thinks they all lie, that they all just, say whatever is convenient and flip. And so when Trump does it on a daily basis, it's just like, well, that's just how politics is. Unfortunately, it just feeds the apathy. And, so everybody keeps looking for that one candidate who's true and who's principled and that we all can believe in. And what we usually find is that temporary state, because you wait a year or two and they'll be saying the exact opposite thing.
Yeah, no, somebody who's true and speaks without a forked tongue cannot get elected today. And that's why AOC, as you see her, moved to the Central. It is funny, though. I know you probably got a lot of criticism. I did, too, when you're like, defunding the police is the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. And you got all sorts of hate mail, I'm sure. I got all sorts of, vile vitriol out there. And now all of a sudden AOC is saying the same thing we were saying.
Yeah, it is frustrating because, even if you're proven right or whatever, it's years after the fact. But, the electorate gets caught in these moods, these waves, the feeling of the day. And, if you've been around long enough and you kind of stay principled, they don't really want to hear that stuff at the time, boy. If you're not saying exactly what they're feeling at the moment, usually out of anger or frustration, they're just like, shut up. And believe me, I got plenty of the old shut ups back in the day. So and I was like, you guys got it. You guys got it.
I don't know. I just think the most damaging commercials in the Wesley Bell campaign was when they had Cori Bush, in her own words, say, asking, do you support Kamala Harris? And she's like, I don't know if I do. Right. I mean, what kind of Democrat in this day and age isn't going to come out and support the candidate for the presidency? And that's that sort of progressive, sort of anti-democratic Democrat. I don't know. It was a crazy world. But yeah, I think we can all agree that woke 1.0, whatever that was a crazy train, just like AOC said. All right, we'll leave it there. Yeah. We'll leave it there.
But those comments that she made were fine at the time, and that's the danger. And you got to be somewhat disciplined if you're actually in public service. Is like, despite what might be popular today, you need to be thinking longer term. And sure enough, she gave into some. The politics of the day, and now it'll probably make her completely unelectable ever again.
Antonio French, you keep talking. You never shut up. Keep talking. We love it. Have yourself a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You got it. Antonio French with us. And as I said, luckily, Wisconsin saved us from canceling Thanksgiving because that Francesca Hong, she lost.
The Butterball.
Yeah, I was going to have to
Lobby
work.
Did fund that
I was going to have to work on Thanksgiving. Now, luckily, I get the day off thanks to the Wisconsin primary. 8:31, St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, there's an accident in the westbound lanes of the Poplar Street Bridge with a bumper-to-bumper backup to 64. A crash on 70 East at 64 has been cleared, with traffic still slow back to Hochul Parkway. 270 North is heavy, but on the move from Big Bend to Manchester. 64 East bogs down around 170, and 64 West is jammed between Illinois 111 and 5570. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Then Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk. What are we talking here? Let's do weather. 82 degrees. It's hot, and it's not going to get any cooler. So plenty of water. Watch Grandma and Grandpa. It's ugly out there. Did you live through yesterday? It's a carbon copy today. 82 degrees. 8:32. Back to the newsroom. Here's Rose Dalton.
Lawyers for the man charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk say he should not be eligible for the death penalty because the shooter hit the intended target during an event attended by thousands of people last year in Utah. Defendant Tyler Robinson's attorneys say prosecutors have not proven that others who attended Kirk's event at Utah Valley University were in danger by the shooting. That's a potentially aggravating factor under state law that would make it a capital crime. A federal judge in Miami has postponed today's hearing on whether social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate should remain in custody. The brothers are fighting extradition to the United Kingdom, where they are accused of rape and sex trafficking. In local headlines, the Wentzville Police Department is losing its leader. Chief Paul West announced he will retire in November, concluding a 46-year career in law enforcement, including 14 years of service to the city of Wentzville. And the Missouri State Fair kicks off today. An opening ceremony is scheduled at 11 this morning. 78 degrees. Time now is 8:33. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, let's talk Reese Nichols, because if you are trying to buy a house today, man, the numbers in the housing industry with the interest rates sort of hovering where they are, but the amount of houses for sale are just not a lot. And so if you're selling, you've got a lot to live up to because there's so few inventory out there. If you're buying, you're competing against multiple offers. It is very difficult in this environment to buy a house or to sell a house. That's where Reese Nichols comes in. Reese Nichols has the expertise. They have trusted agents that have been in the St. Louis market for years. They have the institutional memory you're going to need to navigate the system. I've bought and sold enough houses to know that you know when you have a good agent and you know when you have a bad agent. And a good agent can take advantage of a bad agent all day long. That's why you've got to have a good agent sitting at the table with you when you're buying or selling. Where do you get a good agent so you're not taken advantage of in this situation? Reese Nichols, the most trusted Missouri real estate company, is now back in St. Louis. They've always been here. They just changed their name back to Reese Nichols. Now it's Reese Nichols across the state. For 45 years, they've been doing the frontline business of getting sure the house was bought or sold right and taking care of their clients. Huge supporters of the Ronald McDonald House, huge supporters of local charity, well-respected, well-trusted Reese Nichols. You need an agent you can trust. Reese Nichols or reesenichols.com.
The Big 550 KTRS is proud to be celebrating 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis and looking forward to another 30 years. But we want to hear from you and get your thoughts on what you like and don't like and what we can do better. Go to KTRS.com or to the KTRS app and take our 30th anniversary listener survey. We thank you in advance, and once you take the survey, you'll be registered for a chance to win one of 5 $200 Visa gift cards from the Big 550. The talk of St. Louis.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to LuptonMillardChapel.com.
If it's time to replace your windows and doors, choose Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis. Pella's trusted local experts work in your area and within your budget, backed by the most preferred window and door brand by homeowners. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Study of homeowner perceptions of leading national brands. Study commissioned by Pella 2023.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the Control Option Mindset featuring the Lifetime and Generational Income Maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Hardcastle, host of Money Talk. Join me and all of our Money Talkers for our June 2027 French Riviera Money Talk vacation. 9 days, unpack one time, balmy beaches, coastal resorts, chic boutiques, captivating museums, and much more. And if you book early, under $5,000 for brochure and information, call our Delta office, 636-532-0484. The French Riviera, I'm Bob Hardcastle.
Now back to McGraw, presented by London Chevrolet, the London Autoplex, and London.com on the Big 550 KTRS. It's now time for the Press Box with Frank Cusimano on the McGraw-Millhaven Show on the Big 550 KTRS, powered by Walter Knoll Florist. We know flowers.
All right, let's talk a little Frank Cusimano here, sports director, as well as host of the 10 o'clock show here on KTRS. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, McGraw.
Cardinals. First, let's start with Jordan Walker. He's had a little bit of a slow second half. Any reason to be worried?
Not really. In fact, I thought yesterday we saw the whole toolbox. He made maybe the greatest catch of his career.
Yeah.
He stole a base. He got an RBI hit. You know, the power has not been quite as significant as it was in the first half, but his batting average has been fine. He had another 10-game hit streak. How about this too, McGraw, that he's now had 4 10-game hit streaks this season. You have to go back to Matt Holliday to find a season like that.
All right, good.
But I think, I think yesterday, you know, when the game ended, you thought to yourself, okay, they are just a game over 500, but this has to be the most lovable, 500 team in sports today. Obviously it's because of the low expectations, but just when you want to bury them, they win 3 straight series, 2 against really good teams. And now, you head to Chicago and Wrigley Field and you are 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. It's likely not going to happen, but I'm telling you, at the end of the season, if they're close to 500 in a season where all you're supposed to do is find out about the players and rebuild, it's a heck of a year.
No, and I love Alec Burleson. They're likable guys on this team. Jordan Walker, we mentioned, Palante. They're just fun guys to watch. It seems like a good group of guys to enjoy watching.
Yeah, and you touch on Palante, and I put Palante and Kyle Leahy together in one group because this is a group where we had no expectations at all. Leahy had never been a starter, and Palante was coming off that disastrous 6-15 season. And now here these guys are with sub-3.5 ERAs. Let me tell you about Kyle Leahy. It's now 9 starts in a row allowing 2 runs or less. You have to go back to Chris Carpenter to find a Cardinal pitcher who did that. That's 2005. I mean, he's like the most understated guy in the world. He shows no emotion, and all he does is get people out.
You know, the Cardinals are shaping up to have a pretty good pitching staff here. A nice, young, solid pitching staff with lots of options.
Absolutely. And you throw McGreevy in that group, and you're pretty comfortable. I think they're like a 3, 4, and 5, or maybe a 2, 3, and 4. Now you just got to get lucky with one of these really high draft picks, like a Liam Doyle, that you get your number one. Or maybe Tekoa Roby, who has the best right arm in the organization, maybe he comes on and he's the number one guy. But it's, look, they're 10th overall in ERA. They're 4th in the National League in ERA. This is not like a week or 2 week stretch. This is for the entire season. And that, along with Jordan Walker, are the two most surprising things.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun season. Let's talk about the BMW Championships. Are you getting ready for that week next week?
Yeah, so excited. The 50 best players in the world will be here. And we're going to find out actually Friday for sure if Rory McIlroy is going to play. And technically, he doesn't have to play because all you have to do is be in the top 50 heading into this week. But he's playing in Memphis, and I think if he's playing in Memphis, he should play in St. Louis. Bottom line, though, is we are going to see the best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, hitting balls off Ladue Road, and that really excites me.
Let's hope he's not on a Ladue Road and he's on the course somewhere, because you and I have hit the balls off of a Ladue Road. He's hopefully in the fairway. Hey, real quick, what's going on with Live Golf? Is that still around? What's going on with that?
Well, we thought for sure it was we were going to read their last rights, at the end of this season, but some other investors stepped in, and now they are, planning on, continuing for a couple of years. It's just a shame because it keeps really good golfers like Bryson DeChambeau and others from not being on the regular tour, so we don't get to see them every week. It's a shame, Look, if I was a golfer and I was offered like $150 million just to sign on the dotted line and play golf in another area, it'd be tough to say no. But it really distracts now from the sport of golf.
Yeah, let's talk about your colleague all these many years, Mike Bush. I know you've had Trey Wingo on the other day. It was great radio. You guys at Channel 5 have been doing a nice send off. You have a Mike Bush story you can share with us?
Well, I'll just say this: it's like, I've only wanted to impress like 3 men in my life, and that's my dad, Coach Grauer, and Mike. He hired me from Lexington, Kentucky 34 years ago when nobody would hire me. And we have a lot of young reporters who come to our station and they're so proud about their degrees from Northwestern or Syracuse or Mizzou. I got my PhD watching Mike Bush, watching the best in action, do it methodically and do it year after year. I said it to the Post-Dispatch today that if you factor in everything, longevity, awards won, the combination of news and sports, he's the most important television personality we've ever had in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, that's when it's all said and done. He is right up there on the Mount Rushmore. There's no question about it. Enjoy the day. Frank Cusimano, we'll see you at 10. Thanks, man.
Bye, buddy. Take care.
You got it. Frank Cusimano. If you missed that interview they did with Trey Wingo, Frank and Mike Bush, it's up on KTRS.com. It was really good. It was a really good sort of history conversation about St. Louis and sports, and it was really good. It was stay in your car and listen good. You know why? Because I stayed in my car and listened. 8:45 here, Big 550 KTRS. Captain Paul Kopsky, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
An accident on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard is causing a short stop and go back up to Forest Park Parkway. Traffic is still slow on 6455 West coming in from Illinois between 64 and the Poplar Street Bridge after an earlier crash. 64 East bogs down around 170, and 64 West is jammed between Illinois 111 and 5570. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with boxed lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu and upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We are continuing our string of first alert weather days from today through Sunday afternoon. Each and every afternoon, going to be seeing the feels like temperature surpassing that triple-digit mark once again. This afternoon, a few isolated showers and storms, not as widespread. Going to be seeing a feels like temperature up to 107 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Isolated storm chances once again Friday. Most of us dry. This weekend, a lot of sunshine, but going to continue to see that high heat until a cold front with some scattered showers and storms arrives into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch for the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's talk Lisi Lumber, because if you need lumber, you want to build a doghouse, you want to build a penthouse, maybe you want to build an outhouse. Whatever you want to build, you're going to need materials, nails and wood and hammers and everything else that goes along with building whatever you want to build. And that's where Lisi Lumber comes in, because Lisi Lumber has been delivering materials to St. Louisans since 1872. They've worked with contractors, they've worked with builders, they've worked with homeowners, and anybody else with a hammer or anybody else who needs a hammer, because Lisi Lumber has something that nobody else has, and that is the quality of their wood. You go and buy a cord of wood or a stack of wood from somewhere, it's bowed, it's warped, it's dried wrong, right? No, all of it, right? So you're buying all this wood, but you can't use any of it. Well, when you buy it from Lisi Lumber, they are known for straight, true 2x4s, 4x4s, 2x6s, whatever you need to make sure it is done and done right. So when you compare apples to apples, you get more from Lisi Lumber. For all of your materials, they'll deliver it anywhere within 200 miles. Lisi Lumber. Call. The website's great. The customer service is great. And, of course, they'll deliver it right to your job site. Lisi Lumber in Belleville, but certainly online. LisiLumber.com.
If your home has been the place everyone gathers this summer, you already know how much the little things matter. The sunlight pouring through the windows, the patio door that's constantly opening for kids, friends, and family, the front door welcoming everyone from neighbors to weekend guests. Those everyday moments deserve windows and doors that are just as beautiful as the memories being made around them. That's why so many homeowners choose Renewal by Andersen for beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors designed for lasting comfort, energy efficiency, and timeless style. And for a limited time, take $385 off every replacement window and $785 off every replacement patio or entry door. With flexible financing available, now is a great time to invest in the home you love. Scheduling your free window and diagnosis couldn't be easier. Just dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say the keyword windows. No phone number, no searching online. Just pound 250 and the keyword windows. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Have you been hurt in a crash or on the job? Call Brown & Brown now for a free consultation. 314-333-3333. That's 314-333-3333.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
One thing, I try to do is not think about all the money I have to spend. But sometimes it goes in your head. You think, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to spend money on that. The money you spent on your house is probably the biggest single purchase you've ever made. So it makes sense to protect it. And you know what? There might be things going on up top there on the roof that you can't see. Allen Roofing can. They don't even have to go up there. They can send some drones up to have a look, find out the problem, give a diagnosis, sit down with you and say, what shall we do from here to protect that asset of yours that you spent all that money on? It only makes sense, whether it's a roof, whether it's siding, tuck pointing, anything to do with the outside of your house. They will help you protect it. Find them online at aroofing.net.
Looking for a new kitchen or bath? Call me, Anne-Marie Bogus, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer at Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help make your dream space into a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. We do it all, from design to bid to installation too. Call us today at 636-821-3395 or go online at annemariestudio.com. Let's make your dream kitchen or bath a reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
If you're from St. Louis,
you likely have a Maggie O'Brien story. Maggie O'Brien's has become an iconic local hotspot for St. Louis sports, holiday parties, corporate and private events in downtown St. Louis for food and fun with distinctive Irish flair. Do check out their location in Sunset Hills. Maggie O's.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
What is this song? Billy don't need to be a hero?
Yeah, Paper Lace.
Why are we playing this song?
Well, it's the bassist's birthday, but you said you had a story about this song.
So apparently he's going off to war.
Yes.
And his girlfriend's saying, don't be a hero. But it's such an upbeat and lifting tune. It's so bizarre. It's like it's weird. It's just so weird.
And you know what happens?
Well, yeah. So he ends up dying, right, or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
And it came out in the middle, at the very end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, so it's such a depressing song, but yet it's so happy.
Was that like a top four? Like, what station would play that song?
Top 40.
KTRS.
No.
2026. Not too many people would play Billy, Don't Be a Hero.
It was a number one song.
In case you played that song?
I doubt.
When did it come out?
1974.
Yeah. What a weird song. It's like I was at a Billy Joel concert.
Yeah.
And they were playing Allentown. And which is about, just
Closing factories.
a very depressing song about chromium steel, and we're never going to be better than our parents, and what is life all about? I mean, it's a really, really depressing song, and there are people in this Billy Joel concert like singing along, like rocking out to Allentown. It's not like it's Born to Run.
It just proves that people are driven more. Some people don't even. They might know the lyrics, but not necessarily pay attention to what the lyrics
I
are
was
saying.
just looking at him, I'm like, you know how depressing this song is? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, Allentown, rock on. Yeah, woohoo.
I have that argument with people at the Blues all the time. I said, don't you know what this song's about? But it's so good.
It's so...
Some
Billy, don't be a hero.
There are two kinds of people that listen to music. People that listen to music for the music and others that listen for the lyrics. And usually the twain don't meet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know lyrics, I sing out loud, but I don't necessarily pay attention to what exactly they're saying. I'm more beat.
Well, I mean, there are some songs that I don't know what they're singing about because I can't really understand the words or understand their messaging. But when Wham sings, Careless Whisper, Guilty Feet Have No Rhythm, which is such a great turn of a phrase. You're cheating on your wife. Guilty feet have no rhythm. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Right. But it's not, or for that matter, Born to Run. I don't really understand those lyrics either, but at least, she's trying to get out of town and, trying to be a bad boy and a bad girl. I guess that, but whatever. Billy, don't be a hero. What a bizarrely, weirdly happy song for such a depressing topic.
So he dies?
Yeah.
Being a hero.
Billy.
Carl, there are two versions of that song out at the same time.
Yeah, that was the Paper Lace version. That was the original, but Bo and the Haywards was the hit.
Oh.
But they sound identical.
Oh, identical. Okay. The 1971 song Timothy by the Buoys.
Yeah, The Boys.
The Boys was
That's
the
about-
most upbeat song about cannibalism.
Yeah, they ate Timothy at the end.
There's no, you can't not sing to Allentown.
Yeah.
But it's such a depressing song.
Our factory's closed.
St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, an accident on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard is causing stop-and-go traffic back to Del Mar. Traffic is still slow on 6455 West coming in from Illinois between 64 and the Poplar Street Bridge after an earlier crash. And 64 West is jammed between 25th Street and 5570 in East St. Louis. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, here's let's turn the music down. Here's a pretty good text from the audience. Hey, McGraw, I sell commercial building products. I've had 2 different random phone calls from customers this morning asking if I heard anything about Home Depot filing for bankruptcy. I can't find it anywhere. Have you heard anything? Actually, I just did a Google search myself, and the headline is Home Depot rival hardware chain files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. There's a company called Home Value, apparently. Home Value stores file for bankruptcy, and the headline is that Home Value is a competitor to Home Depot and Lowe's. So somewhat misleading. They might have heard Home Depot and bankruptcy and thought it was Home Depot, but it's Home Value, a competitor to Home Depot and Lowe's, is filing for bankruptcy. I hope that clarifies things for you. All right, now let's talk about Stuart at Stewart's American Mortgage. He's coming on the show on Friday. I'm sorry, tomorrow. Yeah, he's going to come on the show tomorrow and talk kosher dogs and mortgages. You need a kosher dog, you go to Stewart. You need a mortgage, you go to Stewart. Anything else? Don't worry about it. Stewart at Stewart's American Mortgage. Anything over $200,000 is subject to the bagel loan, which is no fees. When you have an extra $8,000 that you can play with when it comes to making your offer look better, that goes a long way to putting you in a better position to buy the house. Stewart works with real estate agents from all over the region to help make your offer looks better. That's one of the 8 million reasons why you should use Stewart. He also has this unbelievable program going on right now where you can get 1% off of your interest rate for the first year. After the first year, it reverts back to what the interest rate would be today. So for 1 year, you get 1% off of your interest rate. That's a pretty good deal. You can't lose. Worst case scenario, interest rates stay the same or go up, you revert back to what it is today. If it goes lower, well, you just lock in at a lower price. And since there are no fees, it doesn't cost you anything. Start to get the picture now. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440 or stewartsamc.com. Anything over $200,000 qualifies for the bagel loan. Call him. He'll run you the numbers for you and explain it all to you. 9 o'clock, KTRS St. Louis.
From QB Austin Simmons, wide receiver Caden Lee, and every player in between, we are the home of Mizzou football. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tells the Des Moines Register this week he believes whoever tipped off the Washington Post about the elaborate plan for President Trump to covertly swap planes while leaving Turkey earlier this month has committed treason and that they'll be found. ABC's Mary Bruce with more on some new details.
According to a senior administration official, the call was driven by intelligence that an Iranian terror cell had snuck into Turkey with a shoulder-fired missile, and that they had information about Trump's movements. The ruse shrouded in secrecy, with only a handful of top aides aware of what was happening, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, along with Communications Director Stephen Chung, who all rode on the old Air Force One.
Wholesale inflation dropping last month as gas prices dropped ever so slightly on the hopes that the war would end soon. The Labor Department reporting producer price index numbers, inflation beating it before it reaches consumers, rising 4.7% from a year ago, but was up 5.5% back in June. Jury selection began this week in the lawsuit filed by a group of state attorneys general against Meta over how its platforms affect the mental health of kids. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on Meta's reaction to what the punishment in California could be if found guilty.
Meta claims that the damages could be as high as $1.4 trillion, by far the biggest penalty yet. And just last week, a New Mexico judge ordered the company to pay $567 million. In a similar case, Meta says that rather than sticking to the facts or the law, the state AGs have instead decided to chase an outlandish payout, and it stands by its record, creating strong protections for teens.
Quincy, Illinois convenience store manager John Marshall hearing from his boss early today about Powerball.
He called me, and at 3 a.m. I thought something was wrong, but he just wanted to let me know that we sold the winning ticket.
Only one winner. That ticket now worth more than $1 billion. You're listening to ABC News.
You know that honeydew list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honeydew list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
$80 degrees at 9:03. A Maplewood apartment complex is temporarily condemned after a 2-alarm fire. Firefighters were called to a fire around 3 this morning at the Pepper Tree Apartments on Bellevue Avenue. One of the residents was taken to an area hospital for smoke inhalation and is expected to be okay. Fire officials say the fire burned through the 2nd and 3rd floor as well as the roof. All of the residents were taken to an area fire station. Plans are being made to find the residents temporary housing. The state fire marshal has been called in to investigate the cause of the fire. A missing child in South St. Louis has been found. KTRS's Brendan Weesey has details.
2-year-old Janila Hughley walked out the door of her Dutchtown home sometime early on Wednesday morning, sparking a search that spanned several city blocks. St. Louis Metro Police Department spokesperson Mitch McCoy credits a neighbor for spotting the child.
A very vigilant person in the area saw the 2-year-old girl in the arms of a woman who we had been searching for related to this missing child case. That vigilant neighbor flagged down an FBI special agent who was in the area and working with SLMPD officers in a multi-agency operation to find the missing child.
It was apparently not the first time Janila left the home on her own, but she was safe and sound, did go to the hospital for evaluation. I'm Brendan Weesey, KTRS News.
Meanwhile, police say charges could be filed in the case. St. Louis Public Schools is pushing back the timeline for a major school consolidation plan. The district says a final recommendation is now scheduled for September 22nd, after originally being for the end of this month. The proposal would significantly reduce the number of active SLPS campuses from 68 to 31. The district said it will continue to gather feedback from the public before making a decision. The Animal Protective Association of Missouri has been awarded a $25,000 grant from the Gray Muzzle Organization to strengthen local efforts to support vulnerable senior dogs in our community. The funding will provide more senior pets with access to critical veterinary care and supplies. And Ameren, Missouri reports that more than 220 commercial customers across its service territory have saved more than $2.5 million on energy bills after upgrading to high-efficiency heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems since July of 2025. Through the company's Biz Savers program, businesses completed more than 240 HVAC upgrades over the past 12 months. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, right here on the Big 550. The Dow is up 97 points to 53,900. The S&P is up 45 points to 7,800. And the NASDAQ is up 211 points to 26,800. In KTRS sports, Alec Burleson picked up his league-leading 30th double as the Cards beat the Phillies 7-1 and take 2 of 3 in the series. The Birds are now just 2.5 games back for the final NL wildcard spot. And the Hill officially returns to Mizzou's Memorial Stadium this fall. Fans can buy tickets to once again sit on the Rock M with the North End Zone project's completion. A majority of those tickets will be reserved for MU students. In KTRS Time Saver Traffic, let's go to the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center for a look at the roads, where we find Captain Paul Kopsky standing by.
Rose, an accident on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard is causing stop-and-go traffic back to Delmar. Estimated clearance time is 9:50, and traffic is still a little slow on 6455 West coming in from Illinois between 64 and the Poplar Street Bridge after an earlier crash. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. And then Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. In KTRS weather, an extreme heat warning remains in effect until Saturday night. Isolated storms today during the morning time hours and clearing with a high of 95 and a heat index of up to 110. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 77, and tomorrow sunny with a high of 97. Currently 80 degrees at 9:07. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Julius Krasanik here, celebrating 54 years in this industry. My family owns Wholesale Siding Depot. That's WSDepot.com. Our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, and door experience. My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
Tired of companies that like to apply pressure to sell you high-priced fiberglass or wood windows? We offer the Anderson Fibrex family of windows in styles and colors, including black, at wholesale prices. What are you waiting for? We sell truckloads of siding, windows, and doors from Certainteed, Anderson, Viwinco, Provia, and other major brands, all at wholesale prices, while offering a free contractor referral service for your expert installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. Visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. Well, one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LandStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's Miller Furniture's 99th anniversary and tax-free holiday, going on now through August 19th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, you'll save the amount equal to the sales tax or more on everything in our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. Plus, up to 60 months special financing.
Save the sales tax on the largest selection of in-stock lift chairs, including Flexsteel's best-selling Z-Cliners, or our unique heirloom quality Amish-made furniture.
Shop our huge selection of American-made mattresses from brands like Chatham & Wells, Tempur-Pedic, and Stearns & Foster. Right now, get a free adjustable base when you purchase a Chatham & Wells mattress.
Let our 99 years of experience help you save time and money. 4 showrooms, one big celebration. Don't miss our 99th anniversary and sales tax holiday, going on now through August 19th.
at Miller Furniture and Mattress for 99 years and counting. We put the family in furniture.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to be your local business banking partner. Since 1964, our team has been committed to uplifting local business leaders and delivering expert guidance on their path to success. Discover how they can work with you to achieve your business goals, no matter how big or small. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com to learn more about our commercial banking services. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on KTRS.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
You know our names. We want to know yours. Let us get to know you by texting us to 84126. The latest news, traffic, weather, sports, and of course, lots of laughs. Give us a call, 314-931-5877. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on the Big 550 KTRS. Depend on it. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it. This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
912, Big 550, KTRS. Well, a couple weeks before the election, there was a little bit of a blurb, I think in the Business Journal, where the Regional Business Council floated the idea that maybe it might be time for somebody out there to talk about some type of structure of our government. And whoa, hold on a second. Let's talk about this. President of the Regional Business Council, Karen Branding, joins us to talk about exactly that. Karen, welcome to the Big 550 KTRS.
Good to be here. Good morning.
Tell us, what exactly is the Regional Business Council?
So here's what we're not. We're not a chamber of commerce. We're not the lobbyists. We're not the big brand marketing machine. We're not trying to attract companies to St. Louis. We are a CEO circle of 100 CEOs that come together to take on high impact issues for St. Louis. That kind of our sweet spot is K through 12 and underserved areas, crime and public safety, and talent, workforce development.
Are people asked to be on this? Do they volunteer?
Yeah.
Do they?
It's invite.
It's invite
and these
only.
are
Okay.
large companies, 100
Sure.
million in revenues or more, 100 employees or more here in St. Louis. So
Wow.
we have some that are about that size, some that are multi-billion dollar, but they're all have one thing in common. They're CEOs or presidents or the managing partner, and they invest in St. Louis. Their time, their energy, and their get things done kind of group.
And so this is a group of people who are can move the needle, who are putting their resources where their mouth is, right?
You bet. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have those three kind of key things that we've been doing for 25 years, but we also lean into other key issues going on in our region. So the airport is a good example. We're working with Greater St. Louis, Inc. on a committee to help put the business support behind the airport expansion. But our own RBC, Regional Business Council, it was late last year that we said, wait, there's three other really key issues that we need to lean into. One is tornado rebuild, transformation without displacement. The second one was downtown revitalization. What are we doing about this, and what distinct impact can we make on downtown? But the third one then was city-county structure. And I'm really glad to be here today to talk more about that.
Yeah, no, that's why you're here. Let me just ask you this, though. Wrangling 100 CEOs of major companies, that's a heck of a job for you. That's to get 100 people headed in the same direction with high-powered people is a pretty interesting job you have.
Well, listen, it's the best part of the job of these members because they really care. There's not a bad apple in the bunch, and they all kind of show up to step up.
Really?
But yeah, it's great. And look, who can argue with some of these issues? We're not taking on things that are politically charged or divisive.
Right.
But it's really about what's going to make the biggest difference to keep moving this region forward.
Yeah. Let's talk about it, because this city-county merger, reunification, whatever you want to call it, for 25 years I've been here. We've been talking about it. We've been discussing it. People have, used it as a political wedge. What are you guys thinking? What do you guys want to do? What are you guys saying? What are you saying?
Okay, so you use words like merger, consolidation. That's not what we want to do at all. And I'm not surprised that you do. And that's the way all of us, I'm a St. Louis and I was born here. And that's all we know is that there's been all these attempts to undo the great divorce of city extracting itself from the county way back in 1877. All these attempts, and they've tried to do too much. If you think of this as a continuum, On one side is where we are today, disconnected, fragmented, separate. On the far other side of the continuum is what has been tried 7 times. Too big, too much. Let's end the Great Divorce. Let's merge our police departments. Let's merge the fire districts. Let's merge the municipalities. And it's just too much for people to swallow. You can't eat a sub sandwich in one bite. You choke. So the Regional Business Council, we're like, let's look at this much more narrowly and realistically. And in the middle of that continuum is just city re-entry into the county, rejoining the county. So it'll be the 89th municipality. No municipalities or mayors affected, no police departments, no fire, no school districts, no pensions. So it's the start of something big, which is a stronger St. Louis County.
Okay. Let's talk a couple things here. Let's first talk logistically. How would that work? Would you have to be a state law? Would you have to be a ballot initiative? Do you just have a county executive who says, fine? How would you, nuts and bolts, how would that work legally?
So I'll tell you, there's only 2 ways to get it done. And I was going to use the word Herculean because that's what it is to try to undo this great divorce. But I think of it more like a straitjacket. There's 2 ways to get this done. One is a constitutional amendment that's voted on statewide. That's not really that ideal because you have people in St. Joe or Cape Girardeau or Chillicothe deciding our local fate. Okay, that's been tried 3 times in the past, over the past 100 years. The other way is, it used to be called Board of Freeholders. It's now called the Board of Electors. That's a local option. But I'll tell you, it is tricky. It's time bound, it's technical, and it's very tricky to actually succeed. There's many things that have been tried with the Board of Freeholders, and the only thing in 100 years that process has produced is the Metropolitan Sewer District. And I'll tell you why. We had at that time open sewer ditches with sewage running down them. There's a big encephalitis.
There's a cholera outbreak.
Cholera, typhoid. And my gosh, if that's what it takes to get this process to work for the betterment of St. Louis, then the process is broken.
And it only passed 51-49.
Great point. Great point. So that's the 2 ways to get it done. And we're really in favor of the local option.
Right. Once the Board of Freeholders meets, comes up with a set of guidelines, then does the region have to vote on it?
Then the region votes on it.
Then
So both the city and the county both have to vote on it. And it both has to pass by majority in both places.
And this regional freeholders or board of electors would have people nominated or appointed by the city and the county to sit in a room and come up with a new plan?
9 would be appointed and approved by the mayor and then the Board of Aldermen in St. Louis, and then 9 by the county exec and the county council, and then the governor picks one. So you have 19 people who would come together to put together a plan. And look, that's pretty far down the road.
Sure.
What the Regional Business Council is doing right now, we're not shopping around, okay, here's who these Board of Electors should be, and here's the proposal. We're just trying to educate, because I think in the past, that's one of the lessons learned is, this is a community issue, and you have to educate and spend time with people understanding what it is, but what it's not.
Right.
And especially given all the past with trying to throw everything into the kitchen sink, we're trying to say, no, this is simple and narrow.
Karen Branding with us. She is president of the Regional Business Council. 100 of the most influential CEOs are on this Regional Business Council. Every time we talk about this, I get a text, a phone call from somebody who says, why? Who cares? Who cares if the city is the 89th town in St. Louis County? What's the big deal?
Okay, well, fundamentally, we are falling behind. We are. Competitively, St. Louis region is falling behind. And, equally concerning is our children are choosing to move elsewhere to start their careers and build their future. Something needs to be done. But now, more technically, our population is declining. Our economic growth is stagnant, and cities are outpacing us on that front. We have a weakened downtown, and the downtown is the core and the engine, not just for our region, but for the state as well. And we're really fragmented in terms of our decision making. We have budget issues, not just in the city, but in the county too. So this is a moment, I think, for our generation to say, how do we step up and move the needle? I've had several people say, I care about this, but what can I do? I'm one person. This is how you move the needle. And again, it's not the way it was proposed before.
Sure. Right. But what does it do? All of those things are true. We all agree that all of those things are true. But how does bringing the city into the county solve some of those problems?
Okay, so here's what you get. You get a bigger, stronger county. Overnight, you get a county that grows by 280,000 people. That puts it into a much more competitive peer set with other cities for developers, for site selectors, for federal grants that are population-based. It attracts more developers because you have more of a coordinated structure for building. And so economic growth, jobs, development, that brings population. So it is the start of something.
So these 100 businesses think that they would be better off, the region would be better off, they could grow their businesses better, right? They grow their businesses, the region wins, all those things. It helps them help ourselves by being one region with one voice, so to speak.
We brought this to our board back in May, and 95% said this is important. We did a poll with them. 75% said, yes, the Regional Business Council, we need to be openly engaged in this process. You know, in the past, we do things kind of quietly in the background. We're not about beating our chests or anything, and that's not what we're trying to do here. But it's like, we need to be openly engaged. And then 2/3 said city reentry is the right option. Some wanted to go all the way down to the end of the spectrum and do more. Let's do a big overlay or something. No, but 2/3 said, yes, city reentry makes most sense, and it makes sense right now.
The other things we get is I'm a city resident. I don't want to be responsible for the St. Louis County Police pension. I don't want to be responsible for the city pensions. I don't want to be... And so how do you answer those types of questions?
None of those are affected because it's just another municipality in St. Louis County. So Kirkwood will be Kirkwood. South City will be South City. The Ville neighborhood will be the Ville. Baldwin's going to be Baldwin. Florissant, where I grew up, that'll be Florissant. So it doesn't affect police.
So Florissant's not going to get picked up and moved to St. Charles?
No, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Right.
So after this, Florissant will still be Florissant?
You bet it will.
I can still go to Johnny Landau Chevrolet?
Yes,
Okay.
and Hendel's.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure because I know you people always try and slide in that thing. So the city would lose something. They would lose their county status, right?
Yeah, we can think about it in terms of losing, but the city is what's technically called city, not within a county. But by Missouri law, they've had to, for all these years, provide 7 county functions. So it operates right now as a city, but also shouldered with the burden of county offices of recorder of deeds, collector of revenue, the assessor, a sheriff, a prosecutor. And there's 7 different functions. Meanwhile, 6 miles west on Highway 40 is the county seat where you've got the same exact offices. Think of that inefficiency and overlap. So the opportunity to combine those means, oh, wait a minute, we have savings and efficiencies. That means we can actually address some of our budget issues, or we can fill more potholes.
I know this board of freeholders will then sit in a room and lawyers will explain, okay, we have to figure this out or this and what, right? And so I know this is very, very premature. But what about the 1% earnings tax? Could the city keep the 1% earnings tax because it just would be their own city?
Exactly. They're their own city. That's the city's issue to decide.
Right. So they could, so the 1% earnings tax could be unaffected by this. Because Kirkwood, if they wanted to, could put in their own 1% earnings tax.
Absolutely.
Or take it off or whatever else. Yeah. Interesting. So we're also, seems like we're in a moment here where a rare occurrence where you have a city mayor that seems to be interested in this. Looks like the county executive, if it's Jake Zimmerman, seems to be open to this. We have Steve Ellman out in St. Charles who seems to be very much open to this. Politicians are not very willing to put their head up to get it chopped off. But it seems like our elected officials at this moment in time seem to be somewhat open to this. Is that fair or unfair?
I think that's fair. And I'm not here to speak on anyone's behalf, but we can't open up the paper or turn on the dial, the radio, any week without hearing people discussing this issue. So it is a moment. This is our moment.
Yeah. So what's the next step?
Well, the next step is education and getting the word out. I really appreciate being able to do that here today.
Yeah.
But people don't trust what they don't understand.
Yeah.
And so this is like for the Regional Business Council, look, we're not going to lead this whole thing.
Sure.
But what we're trusted intermediaries, and we need to get out there to our communities and talk more about this. But there needs to be studies on what's the financial impact and how are the mechanics? How would that work? And what would the timing be? So there's a lot of groups that are working on this.
Yeah.
But
So
that's where we are.
And I understand you guys are sort of the putting your head up there saying, hey, you know, we're sort of ringing the bell again, but we can't lead it, but we'd certainly be there to help and whatever else. But who is going to lead? I mean, somebody needs to lead this. And if everyone's everyone's had their head bitten off so many times, everyone's afraid to be that leader. Somebody's got to take the ball and run with it.
I'm pretty confident that's going to happen.
Really?
And yes. And if it's city reentry, they can count on the Regional Business Council to stand shoulder to shoulder with them on that.
You're pretty confident, like you know somebody, or you're pretty confident that somebody will take the lead?
Oh, I'm somebody. I'm not thinking of a person.
Okay.
But I'm aware of different organizations that are starting to form to say, let's pursue this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I think we're at the early beginnings of something that's going to emerge that we can all get behind as a community.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Ben Franklin said it right. If we don't hang together, we're going to hang separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point.
And with it's right, we're at a crossroads. It's a question, and this has been talked about, but I think at this moment in time, with all of the things going on in the world, our demographics are declining. Our businesses are leaving.
Exactly.
Our children are leaving, not coming back. And, we've taken the region. And so now with the tornado, right, you mentioned, right, we need to either work together for the common good, or, we need to live separately and continue on this path.
And the great divorce. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a big, huge step for St. Louis.
Yeah. Last question for you, Karen Branding, president of the Regional Business Council. If this were to go into effect, who's going to pick up my garbage? No, I'm kidding you.
Well, it's probably the same organization that does today, because that's not a county function.
I know. People are like, well, wait a minute. What about my garbage?
But there'll be more money to do better garbage pickup or buy new garbage trucks.
It seems like when you talk to so many people, it's like a no-brainer. But then when it's whoever is in charge, it always seems to, for whatever reason, fall down, get bad press. Somebody's looking to make a name for themselves.
If they try too much, too big, too much, you choke.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. All right, here's the deal. Keep us in the loop. If you ever want to come back and talk, or you have people or presidents or somebody or anybody who wants to come and talk about it, we are certainly here to help.
I'd love that.
Karen Branding, president of the Regional Business Council. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, McGraw.
You got it. 928 here, Big 550 KTRS. Captain Paul Kopsky, take it away. St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
McGraw, it looks like an accident on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard has been cleared. 5570 West is slow between 255 and Illinois 111. And the ramp from 270 South to westbound Manchester is closed for repairs through Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be closed through tomorrow. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Heidi Klaus, Josh Gilbert, and Bob Ramsey. Weekday afternoons at 3 on the Big 550.
Always current and always on.
KTRS.
Why leave for vacation when your favorite destination could be your own backyard? I'm Jill Farmer for Patriot Build Sunrooms. Transform your deck or patio into the perfect place to relax and make memories with a Patriot sunroom, screen room, patio cover, power shades, outdoor kitchen, or any idea you can come up with. Patriots designers and craftsmen have helped over 10,000 homeowners create stunning backyard living spaces. Save thousands with a free insulated roof upgrade. Call today for your free design consultation, 314-822-3232 or patriotbuildsstl.com.
You know that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
Most car shopping starts online, and lately, shoppers are spending more time at hwkia.com. Recent website reporting shows HW Kia shoppers spend nearly twice as much engaged time on the site compared to other Kia dealer websites. That means people are choosing hwkia.com instead of doing other important internet activities, like watching a guy build a swimming pool out of mud, or looking up, can my dog eat pickles? Why are they staying on hwkia.com nearly twice as long? Because there's more worth looking at. More new Kia inventory, more ways to shop, more ways to check current offers, more ways to value your trade, and more ways to find a payment that works for you. The report also shows hwkia.com shoppers are taking action and engaging through chats, texts, forums, and money-saving website events. So before you bounce from dealership to dealership, start where other shoppers are already spending more time and getting the deal they deserve. Start now at hwkia.com. Research compiled from June and July website traffic.
If your home has been the place everyone gathers this summer, you already know how much the little things matter. The sunlight pouring through the windows, the patio door that's constantly opening for kids, friends, and family, the front door welcoming everyone from neighbors to weekend guests. Those everyday moments deserve windows and doors that are just as beautiful as the memories being made around them. That's why so many homeowners choose Renewal by Andersen for beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors designed for lasting comfort, energy efficiency, and timeless style. And for a limited time, take $385 off every replacement window and $785 off every replacement patio or entry door. With flexible financing available, now is a great time to invest in the home you love. Scheduling your free window and diagnosis couldn't be easier. Just dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say the keyword windows. No phone number, no searching online. Just pound 250 and the keyword windows. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer. Medicare can feel like learning a whole new language. Supplement plans, Medicare Advantage, Part D prescription coverage. How do you know if your doctors are even in the network? That's where Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man, comes in. Ryan is like having your own Medicare consultant, guiding you through every option at no cost to you. By law, the insurance companies pay his fee, not you. For the right plan, call the Medicare Man, 314-368-6808, or visit MedicareManSTL.com.
Hey, Illinois, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. Sorry, St. Louis, this message is for our friends in the Metro East. Did you know that most Missouri-based tree contractors can't legally travel into Illinois? This is due to federal motor carrier regulations that require large trucks and their drivers to be registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in order to travel across state lines. Almost all other tree services in Missouri fail to meet the requirements for safety, drug and alcohol testing, and equipment maintenance that are required for interstate travel. Here at Timberline, we meet and exceed all of these requirements and will be glad to travel across the river to meet all of your tree care needs. Call us today at 636-479-7475 for tree fertilization, pruning, insect and disease treatment, or complete removal. Or visit our website at stltreecare.com. That's stltreecare.com for service in the Metro East area.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
9:35 here, Big 550 KTRS. I apologize. I told Karen Branding, president of the Regional Business Council, that I was going to mention the job fair. I did not mention the job fair. I apologize. We got so caught up in all the reunification. So let me tell you, the Regional Business Council is in partnership with the St. Louis County Police Department and the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department in hosting the Regional Public Safety Workforce Convening on Job Fair on September 15th at St. Louis Community College in Forest Park. There will be 3 other job fairs held on Friday, August 7th, August 26th, and September 8th. The event will be held from 10 to 3. I'll get you the more information on the website at the Urban League's regional headquarters. The 4 job fairs are be held to strengthen and expand the region's first responder career and public workforce pipeline and to foster stronger engagement between education systems and public safety agencies. The events are open to any individual interested in learning more or wanting to apply to various sworn and civil roles. So that it's a first responders job fair. They're looking for first responders after all this is said and done. For more information, where should we go? What's the website?
stl.works/news.
stl.work/news. There we go. Where do you see that on here?
It's in the email that I sent you. It might be on the other side.
Oh, I didn't see the other side. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, there you go.
And one of those has already happened.
stl.works/news. Yep. Yeah, stl.works/news. So, grandma, grandpa, first responders, great jobs. Tell the kids, whatever else. There you go. You got that going. All right, good. 9:37 here, Big 550 KTRS. You know, what are you pointing at me for? What's going on?
I'd like you to do one of those first.
Oh, do we have to go back to a break?
We not yet, but
I'll do Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, and estate planning. Look, here's the deal. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, Carolyn Stolzer, Matthew Furr. When mom and dad are getting up there and they start to talk about, and look, the conversation with going to a retirement community is always a difficult one for all sorts of reasons, right? Giving up their independence, but also financially. Let's forget about the whole emotional side of it, the financial side of it. How is this going to work? And all of these other things that get into the legalese, and it is so exhaustive and so confusing that people just, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I just won't even deal with it. Well, that's where Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, Carolyn Stolzer, and Matthew Furr come in. They're an elder planning law firm. There are so many different things you can do to keep the finances straight, to keep them right, to keep them. But you need to do it legally, and you need to figure out how to do it legally, and that's where these guys come in. We were right there. We were at a complete loss. Mom didn't have much, but she had a house that she'd owned for a long time and 6 kids. And we're all spread out over the country, and I got to be in charge of it. I don't know how that happened, but Rudy Beck fell out of the sky and said, let me ask you a question. And in a week or so, I was at his office, and we were another week or so later, we were signing newspapers, and everything was buttoned up. And when mom passed, it was all couldn't have been any easier. So we were able to sort of grieve, but we also knew that everything was taken care of. It was a godsend. And if you're struggling with this right now, whether it's a retirement community or getting mom and dad in, or brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and in-laws and ex-in-laws, and yeah, it can be confusing. Let Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, Carolyn Stolzer, and Matthew Furr help you out. Beck Elder Law, 50 years they've been doing this. They've seen it all twice. They've been there and back, both sides of the river. They'll help you with your estate planning, and for this generation and for the next. BeckElderLaw.com.
The St. Louis Chess Club is a newly expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art chess center featuring world-class tournament playing halls, classrooms, library, and casual play spaces for everyone who loves the game.
But it's so much more than a place to play.
It's where champions are built on the board, in the classroom, and across the community, with a mission to bring the game to everyone from all levels, with membership starting at just $15 a month.
Discover the excitement, the challenge, and the community of chess at stlouischessclub.org.
As summer winds down, vacations come to an end, the kids head back to school, and schedules ramp up, let Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant do the cooking for you. So whether it's the start of a busy day, come grab a great breakfast, the best in St. Louis according to the Post-Dispatch, or wrapping things up after a long day, let Gingham's serve you a terrific homestyle dinner. And don't forget our fabulous desserts. We're open 24 hours a day, so no matter when you need us, Gingham's is open and ready to serve you. Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
It's Julie Buck, and I wanted to pop on here just to give my friends at Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital some love. You know, healing goes beyond medicine. The hospital is built on a simple but powerful philosophy. Play helps children heal. Through their care beyond the bedside model, kids are encouraged to leave their hospital rooms, play, explore, and simply be kids while they recover. To support Rankin Jordan's work, donate at rankinjordanfoundation.org and join us for the Beyond Gala on September 26th.
Now back to McGraw, presented by London Chevrolet and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTR.
Line 42 here, Big 550. ATRS. I'm about to get myself in trouble, and I'm trying to avoid myself from getting into trouble. So let me count to 10 and not get myself into trouble. Phone numbers 314-931-5877. 314-931-5877. Text your comments to 84126. Those are the phone numbers. We'll get to all of your phone calls and texts as they come in. Let's see here. Crime was not talked about at all. First, crime must be eliminated before any relationship can be accompanied between city and county. Police are ambushed and shot in the city. This is not acceptable. Eliminate the crime so these neighborhoods can be safe again. First of all, crime is plummeting all over town. And what does that mean? Crime needs to be eliminated. You mean no crime anywhere? Like no one can rob a car? No one can steal a piece of gum? How much crime is acceptable before you would sort of reunify the city and the county? And who cares? Seriously, if crime were running rampant in St. Louis City or in Kirkwood or whatever, and the city were to reunify and do away with the recorder of deeds and FX Daily and whatever else, you're in safe Kirkwood. The criminals, it's not going to be any easier or any harder for the criminal to get to St. Charles. If the city reunifies, it isn't like you're unlocking the cell door and allowing the workhouse people to roam free in St. Charles County. So I don't understand that logic. I would love for somebody to call up and explain to me crime needs to be eliminated before we can try and do better. I mean, what does that even mean exactly? So I don't understand it. Let's see here. Thank you, Carl. Dan F. is my favorite all-time singer.
Dan Fogelberg.
Oh, Dan Fogelberg. I love Dan Fogelberg. Old Lang Syne?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
we just played Missing You.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see here. Former Saint SPLC. Oh, no, never mind. That's something else. Let's see here. Madam, garbage pickup is a county program since county executive duly decided that the county would appoint a company for everyone's trash pickup. Think maybe if you knew how the county worked a little better, or just a little better, what you were trying to sell might come off a little more agreeable. That was my question, because I often joke about that, because seriously, it is one of the things that I don't understand. Why are people so tied to who picks up their garbage? It is one of the most strangely compelling things in my 30 plus years in radio. Don't mess with people's garbage pickup. The point I was making, and I think our guest made, was nothing would change with your garbage pickup. If the city reunified with the county, nothing would change. In all seriousness, if the city tomorrow all of a sudden became the 89th municipality in St. Louis County, nothing would change. Zero. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Nothing. Other than maybe the Register of Deeds would go away. All of the duplication that the city does with the county would go away. And what else? We would look better with numbers, right? We'd have better numbers. We'd be a bigger metropolitan area,
and crime would go down.
Crime would go down just in terms of the stats you put into the formula would go down. So we'd look better on paper. But in terms of anything, nothing would change. Nothing. And people are apoplectic over it. And so I think the Regional Business Council is saying, look, we're not looking to do anything other than just make our numbers look better. So all they're asking is to have an honest conversation without demagoguing this or trying to get social clicks or trying to make a name for yourself, other than, if the city became the 89th municipality, how would that affect your life in town and country? Seriously. How would that affect your life in town and country? If the Register of Deeds went away in the city of St. Louis, how many times you living in Des Peres have to go visit, what is that, room 209 in the city of St. Louis? City Hall, right? Because everything's 109. I think everything is at room 109.
210 is where you pay your bills.
Yeah. Every time I went to City Hall, it was in room 109 or 210 or whatever. The world started in like 210, the room 109 or whatever. Okay. Seriously, though, what would change? What in your life would change if you're living in Des Peres and the city agrees and the county agrees to reunify the two together? What do you think would change? Nothing. Zip. Nothing would change. Your police wouldn't change. Your fire wouldn't change. Your mayor wouldn't change. Your alderman wouldn't change. Nothing. Zero. Nothing would change. So what are you so adamant about? The crime. What about the crime? There'd be no more or less crime if the city reunified with the county. None. Crime would be not affected at all. Nothing. Because today, the bad guy, I know this is weird for people to realize, but the bad guy could still go to Des Peres and steal your TV. The bad guy could still go to Town and Country and steal your car. Nothing's stopping the bad guy from doing that today that isn't going to stop the guy from doing it tomorrow. Nothing changes. Crime wasn't talked about. Insurance might go up because crime rate goes up. No, actually, crime rate is not going up. Again, it's not going up. It doesn't affect. The criminal's not saying, oh, hold on a second. I was going to rob a bank in the city, but now that the city is reunified with the county, I'm going to go rob a bank in the county now. I'm going to go to Clayton because the banks in Clayton have more money. That's not going to happen. Off topic, but I need the contract for the info for the tree guy that advertises with you. Ben Barnett, Timberline Tree Care. Ben Barnett. Make sure it says Timberline Tree Care because, again, there's a lot of people pretending to hoard in on his name. Timberline Tree Care. Timberline Tree Care. Ben Barnett. So how does this help city residents, i.e. trash pickup schools? Well, the truth is it saves the city some money or the region some money when it comes to economies of scale, right? The city has a health department. The county has a health department. The city is a county and a city. So some of that duplication of services can go away. Some of that back office stuff, right? The treasurer stuff, the register of deeds, all that stuff can sort of go away because it can be incorporated by the county. And so you would reduce the government, which used to be a thing that everybody liked, right? Smaller government used to be a thing when people liked, or government efficiencies. Look, 100 of the most powerful and successful business CEOs in town think this is a good idea. Do you think maybe we should probably just listen to what they have to say? I mean, they have some level of skill, and they love the region as much as we do. Maybe, just maybe, they might have a good idea. So I'm not saying to believe them. I'm just saying to listen to them with an open mind, just a little bit, to think, maybe this is a good idea. Because the truth is, right now, Kirkwood, Webster Groves could put in a data center and you would have no say in the matter. Right? So the city could put in a data center right next to, right next somewhere. But if the county, right, if it's all one together, we probably speak in one greater voice. What will change? You have 10 minutes of nothing to discuss. What you change? You have 10 minutes of nothing to discuss. I don't know what that means. For municipalities, the rate would change since it would all be one, not the amount, the rate. The county rate of crime is lower. Crime is plummeting everywhere. Yeah, that's what I said. I agree. Our unincorporated county area that has zero crime when added to the population would bring the crime per capita numbers down, but the crime themselves would stay the same. Yes. Yes. This has no bearing on crime. Positive, negative. I guess the positive would be the crime numbers, you know, the per capita, the crime stats would go down. The crime ratings would go up. We'd look better on paper because we'd add 280,000 people to the region, which so would be much better. Anyone who looks at this says it's a no-brainer. And they're not even asking for the moon and the stars. They're asking to give just a smidge, just to think maybe it just might be a little bit better than it is today. It's crazy. Baldy Electric, 314-968-9999. Baldy Electric, 314-968-9999 or baldyelectric.com. It is your electrician on speed dial. Actually, talk to any business who has to have a whole different separate counting books for city versus county. I mean, what a nightmare that whole thing is. Baldy Electric is where you go for all of your electrical needs. Look, I got to call Michael Baldy because I need some electrical outlets put in outside with this new deck they're building. But here's the deal at Baldy Electric. They're St. Louisans through and through, and they're here to help. And they got a great team of electricians. Couldn't be any nicer. Couldn't be any more friendly. Great pricing. Great company. Safe, reliable, don't do it yourself. Baldy or baldyelectric.com.
I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor with Capital Advisory Group. Now, more than ever, having a tax strategy to protect and grow your wealth is an absolute must. Every Saturday, Josh Gilbert and I will discuss how you can keep what's yours, because the most important part of your wealth plan is your tax plan. That's Keep What's Yours this Saturday afternoon.
Capital Advisory Group presents Keep What's Yours with Jeff Zufall and Josh Gilbert this Saturday afternoon at 3 on the Big 550 KTRS.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to LuptonMillardChapel.com.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
Here's a good text. If the change would be to strengthen the police departments, I would think it would be beneficial effect to crime. It wouldn't. It's like Kirkwood has their own police department. The city would still have its own police department. The county would still have its own police department. Webster Groves would still have its own police department. It wouldn't affect the police at all. Here's a good one, though. If I now live in the county, would I then be living in the city, or would they do away with the city? No. If you live in the city, you would still live in the city. If you live in Kirkwood, you would still live in Kirkwood. Go back to St. George. Remember St. George that unincorporated?
Yes.
Yeah, unincorporated down south.
By Afton.
This residents got together and decided they wanted to dissolve the town of St. George. They dissolved their town, and they became part of unincorporated St. Louis County. And unincorporated St. Louis County is controlled by St. Louis County. So they're not in a town. So they're run by St. Louis County Police and everything else. Whereas if you're in Kirkwood, you're run by Kirkwood Police Department and Kirkwood City Hall and Kirkwood Town and all that stuff. So nothing would change. City would still be run by the city. And if you lived in the city, it would still be the city. And if you're in the county, you would, I guess you'd call it St. Louis City, and St. Louis City would be a city within St. Louis County, kind of like Velda City, right? Velda City is a city. They call it a city, but it's in St. Louis County. St. Louis City would call itself St. Louis City, but it would be in the county. Same thing. No change. 9:58 here, Big 550 KTRS. Ken, I got 1 minute. Go, Ken.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I don't think your arguments are helping any, because you said two things. One, to listen to these smart businessmen, and because they're successful. Well, people listen to Trump, and look what happened. And secondly, you said just the numbers would change, and that's like taking a car to the car wash, old car to the car wash. After you wash it, you still have an old car. You need to come up with better arguments.
Okay, Ken, thanks for the phone call. So we should never listen to another businessman because Donald Trump is a bad president? Is that your philosophy? Yeah. It's really amazing. It's truly amazing. I have just enough time to talk about retirement because after today, I got to go. Legacy Wealth Advisors, Kevin Lloyd, 314-641-1010, 314-641-1010, or the website, whenretirementhappens.com. Look, you put your money in with a tax-efficient nature. You need to take your money out with a tax-efficient nature. And how do you do that? No one teaches you how to do this. That's why Kevin Lloyd is here. His advisors, Kevin Lloyd, will show you how to increase your Social Security tax, how to reduce your taxes on Social Security, how to take your money out in a tax-efficient way, all of those things so that you have a true financial plan. 314-641-1010, 314-641-1010, or our website, whenretirementhappens.com. Thanks for putting up with me each and every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it.